Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? How are you? The baby is okay. She is in her cage. She is sleeping right now. I haven't had a wink of sleep in about 2 days. I'm up every 2 hours taking care of her, helping her piss and helping her shit. You know, she can't walk, she can't move her back legs, but she's figuring it out, and I'll figure it out. Um, she'll get better. Crazy start to 2026, though. World War III is erupting. My dog's legs stopped working. Me and Maddie broke up yesterday. Oh, is she permanently paralyzed? No, she should be able to walk again in 6 weeks if the healing goes well. It happens. It happens. That's life, guys. That's life. I've been through a lot. I'll be fine. Happens. Happens. Isn't that crazy? I'm hitting the ground running in 2026, which is why I know I'm probably gonna have a great year. That's usually what happens. Is you get pushed to a point where it's like most others would break, but if you keep on going, then you'll be all right in the end. Interesting to say the least. Yeah, yeah. Interesting to say the least. Thug it out. Oh yeah, I thug. I always thug, dude. Once you try to close like your dead father's eyes and they just keep on opening, and you realize it's not like the movies, I'm pretty sure you can get through anything after that. So, I have a little song here. Una mattina mi sono alzato, bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Una mattina mi sono alzato e ho trovato l'invasor, un partigiano, portami via. Bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Partigiano, portami via, che mi sento di morire. All right, we got a lot to talk about, folks. We got a lot to talk about, folks. Looks like war is erupting. Global war. Global fucking war is erupting. The world is responding to Trump's illegal invasion of Venezuela, and many different world leaders are demanding Maduro's release. Other nations like China are starting to read the room a little bit and see, well, if we're doing law of the jungle, then Taiwan is ours. Oh, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Trump threatened, he said, we will conquer Greenland within the next 2 months. He threatened war with Colombia, Mexico, and Cuba. He says it's called the Donroe Doctrine, and that America will conquer the entire Western Hemisphere of planet Earth. At the same time, Putin's sphere of influence is trying to expand throughout Europe. Netanyahu's sphere of influence is trying to expand across the Middle East. And Xi Jinping's sphere of influence is expanding across Asia. Excuse me. Looking at some tough times. We are looking at some tough times ahead, folks. And I think the worst part is it's the effectiveness of CIA propaganda. There's a joke. Here's the joke. A CIA agent and KGB agent walk into a bar, and the CIA agent, thank you for the $20, the CIA agent says to the Soviet, he says, I gotta give it to you, you Soviets make incredible propaganda. And the Soviet laughs, and he says, our propaganda has nothing on yours, tovarish. And the CIA agent looks at him and says, what propaganda? Get it? Because CIA propaganda is so fucking effective, I think even their own agents are falling for it now. I think even their own fucking agents are fighting for it now. But that's where we're at. I got a bunch of links I gotta pull up for you. Let's get these queued up and ready to go. But with Luigi, she has her drugs 3 times a day, and they kind of put her to sleep for a few hours, and then she wakes up and she has to pee real bad. So I haven't slept in my bed in 2 days. I've been sleeping on the floor next to her, keeping an eye on her there every time she has to wake up, every time she's got to pee. Because you guys got to understand, her back legs don't work, so she needs help with everything she's doing. Beans. Hi, Beans. Hi, buddy. He's bringing me his string right now. Hi, buddy. Hi, handsome. Come here. Come here. Saint Luigi, won't you rescue me today? For I have a tummy and I'm terrified they'll take my home away. Thank you for the $5. Just check out Dave Bashaw. I'll check him out. New Zealand about to get their own Ellis Island. Oh, lordy. All right, so I got some stuff I want to go through. So Maduro got perp walked, much like Mangione. I think in the exact same place. Yeah, the exact same spot. This is all a violation of international law, by the way. If they, thank you for becoming a loyalist. If the United States government classifies Maduro as a POW, a prisoner of war, then this is all illegal because there's a law against the using media for humiliation of POWs. So this is illegal, and if he's not a POW, then they're going to face even more charges. Or not they, I mean like Trump. Trump will never face charges, but if he's not a prisoner of war, then this is even more illegal because he is still yet to go through his trial, and this would fuck up the jury entirely. Thank you for becoming a loyalist. Maduro awaits his court appearance. The Trump regime is working to establish a pliant interim government in Venezuela. I can't believe we're actually conquering Venezuela. Because, guys, like, we got to talk about something, which is, you know, this is unprecedented. I know that we do coup d'etat left and right, and we went through the 5 steps of coup d'etat, and then seemingly step 6 showed up. There's never been a step 6. You know, at the end of the military intervention, you put in your puppet. That's how coup d'etats work. You put in your puppet, and our puppet was Maria Corina Machado, right? She was pro-Israel, pro-America. You know, she was going to let American oil companies invest in the Venezuelan oil. But it seems like step 6 was, now fuck the puppet. Why would we do a middleman? Let's just take it. Let's just rule it as a vassal state. We don't want to invest in your oil. We want to own your oil. Yeah, Trump wants it all. So we're setting up a American interim government to rule over it, much like Israel has in Gaza. We're pulling a Gaza. We're pulling a Gaza. Venezuela is going to be our Gaza now. We're going to rule over it. Trump said we're sending boots on the ground. Who knows how many thousands of troops. I do know one thing, which is that our soldiers will lose their lives in Venezuela. You're making so many brain dead people mad with your videos. Keep up the good work. Yeah, well, I think that a lot of people are coping. They have to cope with the fact that, they voted for the guy who said he was the peaceful dove. They voted for the guy who said we would end war on day one. They voted for the guy who said he was going to lower the prices of groceries. And what they got was a guy who's waging foreign wars left and right, a guy who refuses to release the Epstein files, a guy who says that the, affordability is a Democrat hoax and that everybody is rich. They got the exact opposite of everything they were promised. So I do think they have to cope with it. They have to convince themselves that they support this, even though we all know, bro, if you're making $30,000 a year living in a fucking trailer, your life is not going to get any better from the conquest of Venezuela. You're not going to make any money off this. It's not like the average American is going to get rich off this. You know who is the oil lobby. There's a bunch of billionaires who are going to make a few more $1 billion over this, but you're not going to make any money off this. Puerto Rican airspace is shut down. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. How fucked are we? I don't think I could properly explain it. World War III is about to break out. It's really bad. Anything new in Iran and Israel? Yeah, U.S. warplanes are crossing the Atlantic, heading towards Iran right now. I told you 2 days ago that that America would bomb Iran within the next 3 days. I think I'm correct. I think we're probably going to bomb them tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, no, he's just taken over the world. This is the era of 21st century imperialism. Imperialism is back on the table. Conquering is back on the menu. The law of the jungle is here for geopolitics. The leader of Iran fled to Moscow. Did he really? Did he really? Now, when you say the leader of Iran, do you mean their prime minister or their ayatollah? Holy fuck, it's the ayatollah. And he didn't flee. He has a plan. So Ayatollah Khamenei has an escape plan to flee to Moscow if the regime falls. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Never fucking ends. Never fucking ends. All right, what do we got here?
Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, you said he's got to watch his ass.
He does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about.
Was this operation a message that you're sending to Mexico, to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president there?
The drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way. Something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
Mr. President, Colombia.
All right, so he's threatening to invade Canada, Mexico, Colombia, and Greenland.
About the National Guard out of Portland in Los Angeles.
And you know what? You know that Portland, we got it down to almost no crime. You know that?
That's not true.
But we pulled it out. We had a Supreme Court decision. We can go back. We're allowed to go back in.
No, you're not.
But we'll go back in when the crime starts. Look, the crime will soon start because they now know that we're...
I do believe that crime levels will increase soon, and it's probably because you have deployed ICE across the entire fucking nation in order to rile up the people. You got to remember, Trump wants violence. Trump wants desperation. Trump wants us to lash out. That's why he's quadrupling the prices of healthcare. That's why they limited... That's why they... sorry, just got a 2-month donation. Yeah, you got to load up on food. That's why they stopped funding Meals on Wheels. That's why they stopped funding food stamps. That's why they're defunding education. They want civil unrest. They want people to lash out because as soon as one person lashes out a bit too much, then Trump can invoke the Insurrection Act and deploy the military across the entire nation, which is exactly what he wants to do.
And at the appropriate time, we'll go back in, and we may, if we're allowed to. The most powerful thing we haven't used, the Insurrection Act.
There it is. He's saying it. They're going to use the Insurrection Act.
You're considering using the Insurrection Act.
I've always considered it, but we haven't needed it anywhere. 48% of the presidents of this country have used it. Bush used it.
If it's such a bad thing like everyone's making it out to be, Why do Venezuelan citizens seem to support America intervening? Most of what you're seeing is not real. These are celebrations in Florida of like very wealthy Venezuelans. And you saw the exact same thing when Castro died. A lot of Cubans were celebrating when Castro died. There's always two types of people in these South American nations that have American involvement. There are those who are part of the collective, part of the people, and then there are those who are the capital owners, the billionaires, the millionaires of those countries. And they flee their nations once there's a socialist leader, because that socialist leader is going to raise their taxes, take their money, redistribute the wealth, make the lives of the average person better. So yeah, no, the same thing happened in Iraq. Is people will celebrate, but that's because they incorrectly assume that America is here to save you. We don't care about the Venezuelan citizens. We don't care about the Venezuelan government. We care about profit. We don't even care about American government. We don't even care about the American citizens. All we care about is profit. But the Venezuelans incorrectly assume that their life is going to get better because of this. It is not. You're just going to have a foreign nation milk your nation for all of its fucking resources, and you'll see none of the benefits. That's how it's going to be. But yeah, every nation that we've attempted to coup d'etat, they all celebrate when we show up. This is the way of the world, you know. We're America, you know, the quote-unquote land of the free, home of the brave. When we show up, you assume we're here to save you. We're not. We've never been here to save you. If somebody in chat, I don't know if there's many MAGA supporters, but if you could tell me one nation on planet Earth that we coup d'etat and the lives of the actual natives got better, I'll fucking send you $500. You know, it could be Iraq, Afghanistan, Argentina, Chile, Nicaragua, Panama, Venezuela the first time. It doesn't matter. We do this left and right, and every single time the lives of the average person end up, the quality of life ends up declining drastically. Anyway, let's keep on listening.
I think 22 times or something. You know that, right? I mean, Bush the Elder.
And what do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
I don't want to talk about Greenland. Talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine, and we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
On Venezuela, we talked so much about energy.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland.
What did he just say?
We'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months.
So we're going to invade Greenland in about 2 months, is what he just said.
Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
On Venezuela.
Thank you for the $10. This had to be planned out for the new year. The whole energy of our king and our court and our justice has changed almost overnight. Yeah, I could tell you exactly. I want to show you something so that you can see. I knew this was coming. A lot of us knew this was coming. The regime does not post things for no reason, and they posted something on New Year's that was absolutely horrifying to see. Let me see if I can find it for you. Right on New Year's, January 3rd. We gotta scroll a bit. January 2nd. December 31st. Okay. Should be here. Here it is. This is, when I saw this, I knew immediately, oh, we're probably going to bomb Iran in the first 7 days of the new year. And we still probably are. We got 2 days left. I do believe we're going to do that. But this, just watch this. This is what the White House posted on New Year's Eve.
Hold the line. Stay with me. Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity. Strengthen on, strengthen on.
At my signal, unleash hell.
This probably goes so hard if you're mentally disabled and gay. It probably goes so hard if you're mentally impaired and a homosexual. I mean, so hard, dude. But, you know, if you don't know, this is from Gladiator. This is supposed to be the Roman Empire. What we do in life echoes in eternity is, you know, an implication of conquest. It's an implication of global war.
What we do in life echoes in eternity.
Yes, this is real. Look, this is the White House. This is the White House's official fucking page, bro. This is insulting to us gays. No, I'm not saying it's gay as an insult. I'm saying it's gay as in it's homoerotic as fuck, dude. Like, it's just super, super gay. I did, Matt. I got your links queued up.
Do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
I don't want to talk about Greenland. Talk about
We just listened to that one.
Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and.
Oh, so it's for minerals. Whenever Trump says we're doing it for this, not for this, flip it. He says we're doing this because it's right, not because they have oil. That means we're doing it because they have oil. He says we're doing this for national security, not for their minerals. That quite literally means we're doing it for their minerals. We've never needed Greenland for national security in terms of needed to conquer it. We've needed to work alongside Greenland, and we have worked alongside Greenland. They've helped us out for fucking decades.
Oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland.
If you had to pick a place to move with a background in IT, where do you think is safe? Italy and Thailand look nice. You think they're safe for the long term? No. I couldn't tell you anywhere on planet Earth that is safe. It's not. None of it. The Western Hemisphere will be dominated by Donald Trump. The Eastern Hemisphere will be dominated by Xi Jinping. The Northern sphere of the world will be dominated by Vladimir Putin. And the Middle Eastern sphere of the world will be dominated by Bibi Netanyahu. There is nowhere safe on this planet. There's nowhere for you to move where you will be safe from conquest. That's not true. That doesn't exist.
I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland.
Why is your TikTok filled with MAGA comments? They're really, I almost pity them. They're trying to cope. They're trying to cope with the fact that the guy that they voted for convinced them he was a peaceful dove, and now he's waging foreign wars.
National security.
So they have to pick an enemy. They have to pick somebody to blow off their frustration on, and I'm the guy.
Situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place.
None of that is true.
We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
Denmark has been defending Greenland for over 100 years.
Sir, what would the
to boost up security in Greenland?
Nick Fuentes posted about me? Bullshit. Bull fucking shit.
They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification be?
About Greenland now. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it. And they know that.
I think there's some concern.
By the way,
Chatter said Nick Fuentes posted about me. Bullshit. Bullshit. Where did you see that? Where did you see that? On TikTok, Instagram, YouTube? Where did he do that? Because that's huge if true. That's huge if true. If Nick Fuentes can recognize that I am the enemy of his ideology and I'm a genuine threat, that's fucking huge. I can send it right now on Discord. Do that. Send it to Avo, and then Avo can send it here. Send it to Avo, and then Avo can send it here. Mandatory Fun Day. I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that is. I'm here too, bitch? I don't know. I figured you weren't. You're telling me Nick fucking Fuentes, that Nazi gay boy, posted about me? I gotta see that shit. Stop talking about that loser. You're better than him. I know, but if he's labeling me as an enemy, that's huge. I always say, judge me by my enemies. If Nick Fuentes is name dropping me, that's huge. Dude, stop giving him attention now. Blow me. You don't make the fucking rules. I do. You're in my chat. But yeah, get that link for me if you can. I want to see it. Chris, I sent it. Nobody can send links in the chat unless they're a mod. So try to get it to a mod in the Discord or something. Yeah, you can't platform Nick Fuentes. He already has a giant fucking platform. That's not something you can do. You can't platform Fuentes. Texted you. Could you drop it in here so I can... Chris Lindsay run for the 100% Venezuela, got no div. But that's not Nick Fuentes. Oh, they're talking about me in a Fuentes telegram. I see. How are you guys are like in a Nick Fuentes telegram? Cool. Well, as long as Fuentes knows that I'm around, that's good. You know, as long as those Groiper fucks know my fucking name. You have to understand, a lot of them are going to slowly drip away from Fuentes. Most of Nick's fans, this is real, are black people. Like, the overwhelming majority of his subscribers are black people. So, they're all gonna abandon him eventually. What is this?
What part of explorers, conquerors, and pioneers don't you understand?
Wait. What was I wrong about? We invaded Venezuela. That's what I've been saying for the longest time.
And it's who we are. The oceans, the
dude. But also, if like it says Chris Valenti is upset, it's a great day. The fact that I'm living in their minds like this, like, you know what this means? This means that people invade Venezuela, or Trump invades Venezuela, and the fucking Groipers' first thought is Chris Valenti ain't gonna like this. That means in like 7 years from now, the amount of pull that I'm gonna have on the American political stage is unfucking believable. Unfucking believable. That's insane. That's insane. I have to disagree. No, you can't disagree with him. I'm telling you a fact. His analytics are available. There's been investigations. The majority of his subscribers are black people. That's just reality. You're not allowed to disagree with me. I'm being for real. Just not allowed to.
So apparently there was a white supremacist dating site, and it got infiltrated.
Chris, I'm shaking. How do you think all this ends? Global thermonuclear war.
By an old school anarchist researcher. And this person who infiltrated goes by the name Martha Root. She spent the last couple of months collecting all of the data of a bunch of the members that are now public. And she did it by using AI to make these people fall in love.
How do you know most of Fuentes subscribers are black? Then show us. Fucking Kyle Kalinske did a deep dive into this. You can watch his video on it.
With robots. They created a leak site called okstupid.lol, where you can see all the details of all the people who had profiles on White Date. The bots were so convincing, they bypassed the verification process and were even verified as white. Martha Root then dressed like a pink Power Ranger to protect her identity and went on stage at CCC, the Chaos Communications Conference in Germany that happens every year around the holidays. What did Martha Root do while dressed as a pink Power Ranger on stage at CCC? Ran a bunch of scripts, deleting the whole website. The audience erupted in applause when each of these steps mark done. Change the admin mail password, log into Hostinger, delete whitechild.net, whitedeal.net, whitedatevserver server.
So we all fucking die? Well, yeah. Yeah, if we don't actually stop Donald Trump, if we don't actually stop the fascists in power, yeah, we're all gonna die. Do you want me to lie to you? They're gonna be fine. They have billionaire bunkers. They're gonna be fine. But yeah, no, we will all die. Sorry.
Deleted everything, deleted their backups. This went on for a few minutes. So Martha Root, Pink Power Ranger, spent months, made a bunch of white supremacists fall in love with AI chatbots, was so convincing that infiltrated and got data about so many of them, built a website to leak it all called okstupid.lol, and then nuked their entire everything from orbit. This might be one of the most legendary.
Very cool, very cool. We love shutting that down. We love shutting that down.
To this commander-in-chief, he did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day. And everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago because of what you did.
Yeah, you're right. The entire world is thinking differently. They're all considering America to be a fucking adversary now. We have no more allies, dude. Everybody in the world is coming up with contingency plans for an American invasion of their fucking nation.
Could have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief,
one of the things that is happening, one of the things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time, Howard, you've seen it, that Cuba is ready to fall. You know, yes. Cuba looks like it's
Macau's page, which video does he? I don't know the name of the fucking video.
ready to fall. I don't know if they're going to hold out.
Probably a video that has something to do with Fuentes.
But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Okay, so we're also going to topple Cuba.
Bonkers.
Is the Cuban government the Trump administration's next target, Mr. Secretary? Very quickly.
Well, the Cuban government is a huge problem. Yeah.
The fact that he said no means yes, Cuba is next.
The Cuban government is a huge problem. First of all,
is that a yes?
Cuba, but I don't think people fully appreciate. I think they're in a lot of trouble, yes. I'm not going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now in this regard, but I don't think it's any mystery that we are not big fans of the Cuban regime.
I wonder if they'll actually just hit the old line. I wonder if they'll claim that Russia and Iran and China are placing nuclear weapons in Cuba that are close enough to strike the U.S. I wonder if they'll literally just do the Cuban Missile Crisis 2 Electric Boogaloo. I wouldn't believe it. Was it recently? I believe so. Let's see. Let's try and bring it up. I think it's this one about clavicular.
He's like, now they're not haven't been able to show you yet. I think he's trolling and all sorts of stuff, right? That's so there you have that. But that's actually like it shows you what these people are about. Ugly, and that's why he was right-wing guy vote. Listen.
Yeah, but I mean, like this next election cycle, who's gonna win? It's easily
so
subhuman.
It's like he's like one of the. They're like, you're a race trader. Are doing too. They're like, well, I mean, the logical endpoint is basically like open up the fucking fork.
To President Trump, disagree.
Sir, it's a troll. It's an argument for Michael Knowles. How do that's why he now works.
How about all thinking largely is like
in the field of competition.
Yeah, I'm gonna send in
with this. All right, and I got one more really well.
Like
her upper maxilla is.
It's one of these videos. It's one of these videos. I don't know which one. I ain't gonna go hunting for it. You can find it on your own. But just know, I wouldn't be telling you something that's just a fucking made-up lie. I'm telling you shit that I've heard reported. So, and I trust Kyle. So, I don't trust his reporting. Oh, Luigi, please don't bark. Please don't bark, Luigi. Y'all really communists? I'm sure there's plenty of communists in here. I'm a socialist. I do believe that communism is the humble end goal for socialism, but I'm not stupid enough to think that I will ever see the communist utopia. I think that is something hundreds of years down the line. Everybody's a communist, you know, you just don't believe that it's possible. The idea of everybody living equally in splendor is a beautiful utopia, but that's the thing, it's a utopia. It requires technological advancements that are centuries down the line, maybe even thousands of years down the line. You would need humanity to be such a well-oiled machine operating with, you know, AI and different technological advancements that make the remedial jobs that no human wants to do done autonomously, and then people could focus on doing what they want to do. But I don't believe that communism is possible in my lifetime, or at least an effective communist government. But I do long for it, and I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that my great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren can live in it. Oh God, this fucking dog in the hallway is gonna make Luigi start to tweak. IDF striking Lebanon. Yeah, well, what did you expect, bro? What did you expect? Stalin killed millions? Yeah, Stalin was a brutal dictator. Yeah, that's not communism. Like, I mean, I don't know if you know much about the teachings of communism, but if you think that Joseph Stalin was a communist, you're a fucking idiot. You might as well think that Adolf Hitler was a socialist, you know? And I bet you do. That's the funniest part. I bet you, like, those of you who think that Joseph Stalin was a communist, you probably also think that Adolf Hitler was a socialist. Like, I can't help you if you're that fucking stupid. You fell for 1940s propaganda in the year 2026, you know? It's insane. Stalin was a commie, and no. You see, I can't help you, bro. You fell for 1930s and 40s propaganda. I can't help you, dude. I bet you also think that the Democratic Republic of North Korea is a fucking democracy. I bet you think that the Chinese are a communist government, doesn't practice capitalism. Like, I can't help you if you're that fucking stupid. You don't think with nuance. Anyway, we got more to cover.
By the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro. His entire, like, internal security team, who, by the way, are the ones that we're going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now in this regard. But I don't think it's any mystery that we are not big fans.
You think most of us should be armed? Yeah, I mean, I'm armed. I think that everybody should be armed. You have a Second Amendment for a fucking reason.
Who, by the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro. His entire, like, internal security force, his internal security apparatus is entirely controlled by Cubans. One of the untold stories here is how, in essence, you talk about colonization, because I think you said Dulce Rodriguez mentioned that. The ones who have sort of colonized, at least inside the regime, are Cubans. It was Cubans that guarded Maduro. He was not guarded by Venezuelan bodyguards. He had Cuban bodyguards. In terms of their internal intelligence, who spies on who inside to make sure there are no traitors, those are all Cubans.
All right. The Cuban government, the Trump administration's next target, Mr. Secretary, very quickly.
Well, the Cuban government is a huge problem.
Same clip.
Our country. Now, we have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor, but it's close to a neighbor. And that's Venezuela. It's very sick. Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's
dude, your fucking son buys that blow, dude. Like, half of your administration is a bunch of fucking coke fiends, including your own child.
Very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation by the U.S. and
it sounds good to me.
Secretary Rubio mentioned Cuba.
For our country.
We really are. Yo, this is going to be an insane year. I need you to understand. You're about to see U.S. imperialism on fucking crack cocaine. No pun intended. We're about to go balls to the walls, ballistic, invading South American nations. It's so fucking bad, bro. It's so fucking bad, dude. And the worst part is like these MAGA chuds, think that us going in and kidnapping their leader is it. Like, they think the world is a video game. They think we captured their leader and now their resistance is dead, almost like it's a hive mind. They think that by getting rid of the leader, now all of the people in Venezuela, their entire mindset has changed. They are now pro-American. It's like, brother, we got rid of the leader of the North Vietnamese in like a day. And then we stayed for 10 years, bro. And then Ho Chi Minh rose to power. Like, this is not what's going to happen. So it took us, what, 3 or 4 months to get Saddam? And then we stayed for 22 years? You know, like, I unfortunately, I think that the MAGA cult is so strong, like, that they would do this. If Trump was kidnapped and extradited, they would surrender, because without their leader, they are nothing. And they assume that every other place on planet Earth operates the same way, that if our leader is gone, then we surrender. And that's not how, like, brave people operate. That's not how courageous people operate. That's not how this is going to work. We're going to be there for, I think, 2 years, he said, setting up oil lobbies. You know, like, we're going to have troops there, boots on the ground. He said that we are running Venezuela. We're turning them into a vassal state. There's going to be resistance from the average Venezuelan. It's going to be fucking brutal.
Now, we have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor.
No, we just listened to that one.
Again, I think President Trump is doing will stabilize the United States for generations to come, and it will ultimately be responsible for many Americans not dying from fentanyl overdoses, etc. It has been interesting to note, though, that you're seeing the president and many countries that have been run by cartels, for example, Mexico, react in a negative light, as opposed to countries like Argentina, for example.
Okay, so 2 things. Did you read the indictment that was unsealed by Pam Bondi?
I read some of it, and I know on, I think it's one of the first pages that cocaine is referenced.
Okay. Fentanyl is not mentioned in that, and neither is this alleged hit that you're talking about, Nicolas Maduro putting out on Senator Marco Rubio. Why would the Trump administration not indict him on what you're making to be a huge claim by an adversary of the United States against a sitting U.S. senator?
It's because it's not real. Maduro never put a hit on Marco Rubio's head, and 0 fentanyl has ever come into the United States from Venezuela. To the point where even the DEA and Border Patrol and, you know, like DHS, they can't lie about it. There is 0 fent that comes in from Venezuela. They literally can't even lie about it. On top of that, no, there's no hit on Marco Rubio's head. There's never been a hit on Marco Rubio's head. However, the United States did put a $50 million bounty on Nicolas Maduro's head. So it's, you know, every accusation is a confession when it comes to a fascist. And as you know, you live in a fascist dictatorship. You no longer live in a democracy. Congress gave up their power to declare war. We have a Führer. You know, Donald Trump can single-handedly declare war as an individual. Take the presidency out of it and just listen to what I just said. Donald Trump can single-handedly declare war. You live in a representative democracy. You vote for representatives and you trust them with the power to declare war. Congress has given up that power. So you don't live in a democracy. You live in the Fourth Reich. You live in an authoritarian dictatorship.
Definitely, it's definitely an important piece of information, and I will make sure that I follow up with Todd Blanche and suggest that they try to charge him for that as well.
I know, but that's not what you're saying. You're justifying the.
Are you seriously going to dismantle the world the moment I try to fix my life? You Americans should get your rogue state under control instead of burning the world. You have the means. Yeah, we really don't have the means. Legally, no, we could not stop him legally. There's no recourse to do it.
Action of the administration, you're justifying the actions of the administration by citing fentanyl and citing an alleged hit on Senator Marco Rubio. Both of those.
Fentanyl and cocaine and drugs have been definitely trafficked out of Venezuela.
No, they haven't. You're lying. No, they have not. No fentanyl has come out of Venezuela. You are lying.
I'm not implying anything. I'm actually telling you confirmed information.
No, you're not. You are lying right now. And this is the problem, is that there is no consequence for lying anymore. Like you can simply just create your own reality, and you can convince about 30% of the American population that it's real. And this is because, as I've said many a time, and I do mean this, anybody who still supports Donald Trump is inferior. They're subhuman. They should not have the same rights as you because they're incapable of making decisions, let alone good decisions. They can't make decisions. They have to wait for the Führer to give them their talking points because they're genuinely cultists. You know, like, I know it sounds authoritarian, but no, like, we should be branding MAGA supporters. There should be a brand on them so that we know that they do not get the same rights. They should not be allowed to vote in the future. It's, you know, call me an authoritarian all you fucking want. I'm just trying to live in reality.
I'm telling
It's
you
not-
confirmed
it's not
information. So what
mentioned-
I would
it's
do if
not
I were
mentioned
you
in
is
the
I would reach
indictment.
out to the secretary's office and see if Nicolas Maduro put out a hit on him. And I just said that I would follow up
I'm
with
just
the
telling you
DOJ
it's not
and
mentioned in
suggest
the
that they put
indictment,
that in
and I'm
there.
asking you to explain why.
Somebody in chat just said, why not go to the White House and take him to jail by force? We'll die. We will be murdered. Will be killed. Are you out of your fucking mind? Did you not see what he just did in Venezuela? And you don't think he's got secure? Are you a fucking idiot? Are you a fucking idiot?
It's not
Well, I'm not
mentioned
at the
in the
Department
indictment.
of Justice. I don't know.
Well, you're
I
the
don't
one
work at
that's-
the Department of Justice, but I think that
Do you
that would
think
be a
maybe
good
it's
thing
not?
for you guys
Do you
to
think
follow
maybe
up on
it's
and
not
ask
a
them
real
why.
thing that the? Do you think it's maybe not a real thing that they have any evidence to substantiate it?
No, I don't think that it's not a real thing. I think it definitely happened, and I definitely confirmed it with 2 separate people before I came onto your show because I wanted to share that with you. And I would suggest that you guys follow up with the Secretary's office because I do think that that's something that the American people should know.
There is no Fent coming in. You're just lying through your fucking teeth, you dumb bitch. Jesus Christ. All right. Thank you for the $5. Yeah, no, I can't. That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm talking about Inglourious Bastard shit. These people are going to take off their red hat. They're going to pretend they never supported him, and they're going to move on and wait for the next authoritarian, fascist, white supremacist dictator to take over, and then they're going to come rolling out from underneath the rocks. They're going to come crawling out from underneath the rock that they crawled under once Trump is gone, and I can't have that. I can't have that. You know, part of the reason why we're dealing with a rise of Nazism and the Russians aren't is because in the Nuremberg trials, we executed 11 men. The Soviets enslaved 40,000 Nazis, bro. They worked in labor camps until they died of old age in the 70s and 80s in a fucking Siberian gulag. You know, meanwhile, we executed 11 people and gave the rest American citizenship and told them they could start a life here. And now we have to deal with Nazis and they fucking don't. You know, call me fucking crazy, but I think the Soviets were better off. I think they were better off. All right, so we got all that queued up. We got more. I got more for you. I have so much for you. Jesus fucking Christ. Valenti, like, I think this just might be my masterpiece. What? What might be my masterpiece? All right, we're gonna make a bunch of videos today. Okay. Hey, you keep saying we're going to strike Iran and we haven't yet, so why are you lying? Brother, Donald Trump literally said that he will bomb Iran if Israel asks him to. He was asked, hey, will you bomb Iran if they make ballistic missiles? He said, yes. They said, what if they make nuclear weapons? He said, even harder. They already have ballistic missiles. We're probably going to bomb them in the next 2 days, dude. I can't, like, dude, You think I'm lying, man? I don't know what to tell you. We already bombed Iran before. You're full of bullshit. Do you want to see Trump say that? Do you think I'm lying to you when I say Trump said this? Trump says he will bomb Iran again. Do you think I'm just lying? Do you think I just come up with shit? I'm being, hold on, who said that? Because I really do want to ask you. Where is it? You're so full of BS. Jorge, do you think I'm just lying to you? Or do you think I'm reporting on things that the president said and you're like, that sounds crazy, you must be lying? No, we have an insane person. You said we were in the process of it? I have never said that we were in the process of bombing Iran. We bombed them, like 4 months ago? And we're about to bomb them again. Never did I say that we are currently bombing Iran. I don't know why you're fucking lying. But anyway, let me show you. I mean, listen, if you don't believe me, you don't need to. You can just get it from the horse's mouth.
If Iran will not have a deal, if Iran will continue with their ballistic missiles and also nuclear weapons.
If they will continue with the missiles, yes, the nuclear, fast.
Now, here's the thing. This is important what he said. They already have ballistic missiles. They've had ballistic missiles for fucking decades. So he said, if they build ballistic missiles, yes, we'll bomb them. They already have that. That's like if a foreign leader said, well, if the Americans build up an air force, we will bomb them. We already have a fucking Air Force. That's what that is.
Okay. One will be yes, absolutely. The other was, we'll do it immediately.
So he's asked, will you bomb Iran? He says yes or fuck yes. Those are his options for bombing Iran. So, like, what do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you? You said we would bomb them 3 days after New Year's. No, I said within 7 days. I said within the first year, within the first week of the New Year's. But also, guys, I'm giving you predictions, bro. My predictions are not always going to be correct. And I hope to God that my fucking predictions are not correct, because all of my predictions are heinous. They're fucking heinous. You sound like a fucking idiot. You probably support a foreign regime change in Venezuela simply to conquer their oil, right? Fatoshi, are you in full support of the invasion of Venezuela? Genuine. We got fucking 3-year-olds in this chat. It's unbelievable. Do you support the war in Venezuela to harvest their oil, Fatoshi? Excuse me. Yeah, it looks like MAGA finally showed up. Not gonna say nothing now? Well, whatever. Happens. But the MAGA supporters, hello. Welcome in here. We're just talking about how Trump said that we are going to conquer the entire Western Hemisphere. He said that we're ready to bomb Iran again if Israel asks us to. He says that we're going to invade Cuba. We're going to invade Colombia. We're going to invade Greenland. And we're going to invade Mexico. This is not me telling you this stuff. This is him telling you. I'm just showing you the videos. It's literally all I'm doing is showing you the videos. You said American warplanes are crossing the Pacific to bomb Iran. No, the Atlantic. And they are crossing the Atlantic to bomb Iran. I don't know what you want me to tell you, bro. I'm telling you the facts. I know it's scary and it's making you deny the facts, but that's what's going on. They don't believe the videos. I can't help you then. I really can't help you. MAGA's actually been here for a while. They're just so fucking stupid they couldn't figure out how to get inside. Also, Ayatollah Khamenei, the Ayatollah of Iran, he said he has an emergency plan B to flee to Moscow when the Americans show up. So they're already preparing for it too. It's on its way. It is on its way. I can lead a horse to water. I can't make it drink. I can show you the videos. It's really up to you to realize that your quote-unquote peaceful dove, I'm going to end the wars on day one, is just waging war after war after war. You know, it's crazy. I do have a question for the MAGA supporters. Could you guys tell me one of the 8 wars Trump ended? Could you guys please tell me one of the 8 wars that Trump ended? I would love to know. I would love to know. I would love to know. Anything? Anything? World War I, World War II, Vietnam. You're right. Donald Trump did end the First World War at 11/11/11. November 11th at 11:11 a.m. in the year 1918. Donald J. Trump ended World War I, believe it or not. I'm a U.S. citizen living in Colombia. Should I be worried? Yeah, I mean, Trump said that he's going to invade Colombia and that they're next. So he told the leader of Colombia that he should watch his ass. So can't really help you. Can't really help you there. Anyway. All right, we got more. We got a lot more to talk about. What do I have here? Let's do this. Dude, I love how on New Year's Trump was asked, he was like, what do you want for New Year's? He said, peace on earth. And then the next fucking day, he bombed the shit out of Venezuela and kidnapped their fucking president. Like, you couldn't make this shit up. You really couldn't make this shit up. We're living through, like, the second era of American imperialism. It's back on the fucking menu, ladies. It is back on the menu. Get this shit queued up. I got too many fucking tabs. Look at these fucking tabs. Jesus Christ. Venezuela's acting president. No, I'm not asking Grok to explain this. Thank you for the $50. All of MAGA is inferior to the rest of humanity. I mean, yeah. Like, listen, I've said this before. There are so many people who voted for Donald Trump. Voting for Donald Trump does not make you inferior. You got duped. You got duped. But if you can still support him right now, January 5th, 2026, you are a fascist. There's no debating this. And fascists, they are inferior. They're inferior. They're not capable of logic or critical thinking or reasoning. So you can confidently say that anybody who currently supports Donald Trump is genuinely inferior to you. That is an irrefutable fucking statement. Anyway, back to reading. Message from Venezuela to the world and to the United States. Who is this? Their acting president? Let's see. Venezuela reaffirms its commitment to peace and a peaceful coexistence. Our country aspires to live without external threats in an environment of respect and international cooperation. We believe that global peace is built by first guaranteeing peace within each nation. We prioritize moving towards balance and respectful international relations between the United States and Venezuela, and between Venezuela and other countries in the region, premised on sovereign equality and non-interference. These principles guide our diplomacy with the rest of the world. We invite the U.S. government to collaborate with us on an agenda of cooperation oriented towards shared development within the framework of international law and strengthening lasting community coexistence. President Donald Trump, our peoples and our region deserve peace and dialogue, not war. This has always been President Nicolas Maduro's message, and it is the message of all of Venezuela right now. This is the Venezuela I believe in and have dedicated my life to. I dream of a Venezuela where all good Venezuelans can come together. Venezuela has the right to peace, development, and sovereignty and a future. Delcy Rodriguez, acting president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. So it seems like Venezuela is going to resist. If this is the sitting president saying that we will resist, it looks like there's going to be a fucking fight. And we all knew there was going to be a fucking fight, dude. There are tens of millions of people in Venezuela. You can't take out their leader and expect there to be no resistance when you go and harvest all of their nation's minerals and not give them a fucking cut. You know? And the thing is, what she's saying is, look at this. This is important. She says, we invite the U.S. government to collaborate with us. That's not what they want. That's not what Trump wants. They want all of it. They don't want to collaborate. They want to own it. They want to run it. Trump said it himself. He said that we are going to run Venezuela. I couldn't help you. I give it the $5. I'm Brazilian. I'll tell you what, the U.S. military won't survive on our lands, a.k.a. jungles. Yo, lost in Afghanistan to men wearing flip-flops. Yeah, I know. That's also a big thing, is that Americans, we operate with aesthetics. You know, we see our troops and our Black Hawks and our B-2s and all our gear and our extra mags and our bandoliers and all that, and we assume that we're the stronger force. And then you look at somebody in the Taliban or ISIS or Al-Qaeda, and they're wearing flip-flops and they're in a fucking robe and they got an AK-47. Meanwhile, they won. Same fucking thing happened in Vietnam. A whole bunch of rice farmers with AK-47s, and they won. You know, the American military only wins when we have air superiority. We have never in our history faced another nation that had an air force. I mean, granted, we went up against the Chinese during the Korean War, but yet again, we did not win the Korean War. When our soldiers cannot call in an airstrike, suddenly they realize what warfare is. They're fucked. When they can't call in an airstrike, they're pretty dog shit, you know? By the way, mods, you don't have to ban all the MAGA voters. Like, you don't have to ban MAGA supporters. You just got to ban people if they're being racist or if they're spamming the chat or if they're saying fucked up shit. You don't have to ban people for being MAGA supporters. This is how we convert them back into normal functioning people. You know, they have to be exposed to it somehow. Oh, you're timing out spammers? All right, good. That's fine. I've got an absolute fuckload of links to pull up. I want to see what else should I even pull here. Undercover deal with the sitting VP. Yes, give me that. Give me that. Quiet part out loud from a war hawk. We'll get that. We got so many fucking links. This is unbelievable. A No New Wars compilation. That's huge. I don't care about the history of regime change. We've talked about that many a time. Excuse me. And for the $5. Any revolution must include the total collapse of the U.S. economy and, by extension, the world economy. We are slaves and the debt is our chains. The U.S. economy will collapse on its own. You don't need a revolution to do that. It's going to collapse on its own. The amount of fucking tabs I have queued up right now is insane. Do you see that shit? Do you see that shit? I do, though. Like, again, I'll say it again. To all of the fucking Marines and U.S. soldiers who have to stay in Venezuela for the next year and a half defending fucking oil lobbies. Good luck, Marine. Have fun. No love lost when you get fucking harmed. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You are contractually obligated to refuse illegal orders. It's not like you should do it or you can do it. No, you have to do it. And every single soldier who participated in this event participated in an unlawful order. Every single one. You know, and I do want them all charged. I want every single one of them fucking charged, you know. That's the name of the game. They're traitors. That deployment pay, though. Military don't even fucking pay well, bro. Doesn't even pay well. Pretty sure they make like what, between like $50,000 and $80,000 a year to go fight and die in a fucking foreign jungle. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane. Military doesn't pay well. That sounds like somebody who has never been paid well. If you think the military pays well, you've never been paid well. Sorry, you don't know what you're fucking missing. I'm gonna go fill up my coffee. I'll be right back. Ugh. Oh, okay. YouTuber without a real job enjoying his first world privilege from suburbia? Yeah, damn right. I'm privileged as a motherfucker. I'm eternally grateful to everybody in this community, even the fucking haters. You guys have provided me with the ability to do what I truly love as a career. And, I mean, right now I'm really realizing just how poignant it is. I mean, my dog is paralyzed and I have to keep an eye on her for 6 weeks. And I don't think I'd be able to do that if I had to go clock into a 9 to 5 every day. You know, emergency would happen. She keeps on crying. No, she keeps on needing help. So I'm incredibly grateful. Thank you for the $5, Christopher. Thank you for the $10, Carolina. I don't know if y'all heard, since we can't get real news in this country anymore, but there are more than 100 Venezuelan civilians dead. Yeah, I covered this the other day. We murdered over 100 Venezuelan civilians. And there's going to be more. We're going to keep on murdering them. It's not going to end, you know, and we're going to lose a whole bunch of U.S. soldiers. I already made my estimation. I think that by the year 2028, we'll probably lose between 4,000 and 12,000 U.S. soldiers in Venezuela. And that's based on my calculations where in Vietnam we lost something like 40,000 troops. In Iraq and Afghanistan, I think we lost 10,000. How many U.S. troops lost in Iraq, Afghanistan? 7,000. We lost around 7,000 troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. We lost 40,000 in Vietnam. You consider like technological improvements and like, you know, drone warfare, less boots on the ground. I still think we're probably going to lose between 4,000 and 12,000 in the next 2 years. Somewhere around there. Yeah, I mean, not to mention the suicides after, and not just the suicides. They're going to be getting lung cancer, guarding burn pits, the same way that we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. A lot of U.S. soldiers are going to die because of this. Any of us, or a person who wants to start a channel, I'm having a hard time figuring out where to start. There's just so much to start with. I'll tell you exactly what you got to do. Get a mic, get a camera, start recording. People make it more complex than it is. Just get a mic, get a camera, start recording. If you don't know how to screen share, just start giving your opinion on stuff. But first thing I would figure out is how to screen share with your little face in the corner down here. Show people what you want to show them, give them your opinion on it. You just got to start recording. You just got to start recording, man. I started recording, I had 2 fucking viewers. It's the name of the game. You just got to start somewhere. You just gotta start somewhere. 40 Path says, you're so confidently wrong, it's hilarious. What am I wrong about? Could you please tell me what I am wrong about? Because I'm covering exactly what Donald Trump is telling you. Please tell me what I'm wrong about. I would love to know. 40 Path 22. Thank you for the $2. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. 40 Path. Tell me, what am I wrong about? Paid trolls from Israel. Listen, there's going to be plenty of CIA bots, but I don't think that these are bots. I think these are probably just like bootlickers. Probably just bootlickers. 40, come on, tell me what I'm wrong about. I want to know. Every single TikTok you've uploaded in the past 3 days that are really wrong. Well, let's go through them. You tell me what I'm wrong. Hold on, let's pull it up. Oh, okay. Something went wrong. What do you mean something went wrong? There we go. All right, so which one? Which one of these is wrong? This one? Hey, I got a question for the bootlicking MAGA chuds, the incel, groiper, unlovable, unfuckable dorks of this country. Do you think you're going to see the rewards of our illegal oil harvesting in Venezuela? Do you think your life is going to get better and you're going to get rich and wealthy? Do you think that, like, you're actually going to benefit from this? Not the oil lobby. We all know that they're going to get rich. We all know that Trump and all of his friends are going to get super rich. We know they're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars off of this. Do you think you're going to see any rewards? So, to the MAGA supporters in the chat, what about that was wrong? What about that is wrong? Like, do you guys think that you're going to benefit from this? Like, MAGA supporters, do you think that your life is going to get better from harvesting oil in Venezuela? Do you think that, like, you're going to make more money? Gas gonna be cheap. Duh. That's the funniest part is no, it's not. This makes more profit margins. Why the fuck would they lower the price of gasoline? That's gonna affect their profit margins. Jesus Christ. All right, let's go to the next one. Hey, by the way, if you support the invasion of Venezuela, it means you also support Israel and you are loyal to Benjamin Netanyahu. You are not going to benefit from this invasion. We are going to lose American lives and you're still going to make $30,000 a year and live in your fucking trailer. So which part about that was wrong? If any MAGA supporters want to tell me, which part about that was wrong? I mean, I got a clip for you right now of Benjamin Netanyahu, like 2 days before we bombed Venezuela, saying that the United States should bomb Venezuela. There is an Iranian connection between Venezuela and Iran. Like, what about that is wrong? Anything? Anything? Hello? What happened to the MAGA supporters? I thought there was like a fuckload of you guys. Nothing? Nothing? All right. What, this one? Well, you're telling me... Welcome to day 2 of the Venezuela invasion. Friendly reminder that it took us 1 day to capture the leader of North Vietnam and then we stayed for 10 years. If you think that capturing Maduro is the end of this conflict, you are actually one of the stupidest members of the U.S. public. And here's the thing. Every single Trump supporter thinks that capturing Maduro means, oh, that's it. We're done. Now we can safely set up the oil lobby and we can just harvest all of the minerals in Venezuela. If you think that the American soldiers who are staying in Venezuela for the next 1.5 years do not have to meet any resistance, you are dumb as fuck. You're showing your opinionated videos and claiming your opinion is a fact. No, you guys, there's a lot of MAGA supporters who are saying everything I've said over the past 3 days is wrong. I'm trying to figure out what you think is incorrect. Like, if you could tell me what was incorrect based on my assessment here, I'd love to know. We could talk about it. But you can't say everything you said was wrong. I need to know what the fuck you're talking about. Was I wrong that we invaded Venezuela? Because we did. We invaded Venezuela. Am I wrong that we're making it a vassal state and keeping our troops there? No, that's confirmed. I don't understand. I don't understand. 0 casualties from taking their leader? Yeah, it was a stealth operation. Yeah, we killed 100 civilians, and now we're going to stay there for years. Yeah, we didn't lose any American troops during that. Do you think that we're not going to lose any American troops while we turn it into a vassal state for the next 2 years? I think for the $5. I had War with Venezuela on my 2026 bingo card. Yep, I had that as well. Anything? Let's move on to the next one. You're telling me Luigi... Now I know what you're gonna say. Oh, this one's good. Hey. Hold on. You're telling me Luigi... Now I know what you're telling me Luigi... Now I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, but Mr. President, coup d'etat didn't work in Iraq or Afghanistan or Yemen or Somalia or Syria or Libya or Kuwait or Argentina or Chile or Nicaragua or Panama or Venezuela the first time we tried it. But this time, oh, it's gonna work and it's gonna make the lives of the Venezuelan people so good. We're gonna make Venezuela great again and the oil lobby, ExxonMobil, oh, they're gonna love it. They're gonna get so much oil and it's gonna make everyone's life better. And to you, my little MAGA voter, all those gay thoughts in your head, they're gonna disappear. And your parents, they're gonna undivorce. And the $30,000 a year that you make living in your trailer, that's gonna turn into $31,000 a year. And we're all gonna be making so much money and everyone's gonna be so happy and everything's gonna be fine. And not a single American life is gonna be lost. I know it's only day 1 of the invasion, but let's call it a victory. Let's go mission accomplished. I know that the vice president of Venezuela is already telling me I have to return President Nicolas Maduro, but I'm not gonna do that, and everything's gonna be fine anyway. By the way, I'm bombing Iran tomorrow. Anyway, I'm not gonna sit here fucking proving to these fucking bootlicking MAGA chuds that I'm right. I've always been right. I'll always be right. To be a leftist is to be correct 6 months early and have everybody call you a fearmonger, and then they come crawling back and they go, oh my fucking God, you were right. What, are you a prophet? No, I'm just capable of reading. I just know how to read. And I can listen to what Trump tells me. Like, this is the easiest job in the world, dude. I just listen to what Trump tells me, and then I tell it to you guys. And people go, he didn't say that. And I go, really? Here's a video. Like, it's the fucking easiest thing in the world, dude. Anyway. Somebody said Canada doesn't have a nuke. Incorrect. 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 I know that they're technically not a nuclear nation. They have a nuclear weapon. Yeah, and Israel doesn't have nukes either, right? Israel doesn't have nukes either, right? Okay. I think it's time to make a video, yeah? You guys ready to make a video? Somebody says America first. No, it's Israel first, bro. It's Israel first. Your tax dollars are going to Israel, bro. Trump has done nothing to make your life better. He has done plenty to make the life of the average Israeli better, but he's done nothing to make your life better. That's all MAGA ever was making Israel great again. And always remember who we are. We are Charlie Kirk, we carry the flame. We fight for the gospel and honor his name. We are Charlie Kirk, his courage our own. Together unbroken we'll make heaven known. Such a fucking banger, dude. It's such a fucking banger. All right, you guys ready to start recording? You guys ready to make a video? You guys ready? You guys ready? All right, let's start recording. Global war has erupted. Donald Trump is threatening to conquer the entire Western Hemisphere of planet Earth. He has said in the past 2 days that we will be invading and conquering Colombia, invading and conquering Mexico, invading and conquering Cuba, and invading and conquering Greenland. We do have a timeline for Greenland. Trump said that within the next 2 months, we will invade and conquer Greenland. This is because there are 3 dictators on this planet who are working together to expand their spheres of influence. We have the dictator in America, Donald Trump, who believes in the Don Roe doctrine. That is exactly what he said. He said it with his own words. It's a play on words for the Monroe Doctrine, right? Now, if you don't know, the Monroe Doctrine is a document that claims that the United States of America has an obligation to defend the Western Hemisphere. And that's true. We do have an obligation to defend the Western Hemisphere. But Trump and the rest of his fascist dogmen in the Oval Office believe that the only possible way to defend the Western Hemisphere is to own the Western Hemisphere. So they have announced that they will begin to conquer the entirety of South America. Every single sovereign nation in South America is now in danger from the imperialist fascist known as Donald Trump. He also wants to conquer all of Canada. So Canada is preparing for a military conflict with the United States of America. He straight up said that we're going for Cuba, Colombia, Mexico. He said that the leader of Colombia should watch their ass. It's really bad. At the same time, the other dictators, we've got Vladimir Putin, who is working hand in hand with Trump due to the blackmail gathered by Jeffrey Epstein, who worked for Mossad. Don't worry, we're going to get to Israel too. Putin is trying to conquer the entirety of Europe, and now nations like Germany are rearming themselves and building up their military in preparation for a great European war. What else do we got? Israel is preparing to bomb Iran probably in the next 2 or 3 days. We will join them on that. There are American warships, American warplanes crossing the Atlantic heading towards Iran right now as we speak. Trump said it himself. He said, we will bomb Iran again. And then he said, if they have nuclear weapons, we're going to bomb them even harder. So it's not like we might bomb Iran. We are going to bomb Iran. Donald Trump said it himself. So that's, so while we got America expanding in the Western Hemisphere, you got Russia expanding in Europe, now you've got Israel expanding in the Middle East, creating the Greater Israel Project, while the fourth and final piece of that puzzle is Asia. And Xi Jinping and the Chinese, they're watching this new, law of the jungle in geopolitics, and they're saying, well, if they're not following the rules, why should we? So the Chinese are preparing to invade Taiwan, as they've been preparing for decades. They're probably going to be able to pull that off without a fucking drop of blood spilt on their side, that is. But yeah, global conflict erupting around the world. I've got videos. I've got so many tabs to show you. Look at all these fucking tabs. Too many tabs. Unbelievable. Before we do, I would like to remind you, if you're new here, hi, how are you? I'm Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti VOD. This is what real independent media looks like. I know that you've seen online media, like Megyn Kelly has her own show, Tim Pool has her own show, Ben Shapiro, all that. That's online media. That is not independent media. Hold on, I have a burp coming. Whoa. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's online media. They are bought and paid for, but they understand that the whole idea of mainstream media on cable news, it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. But this is real independent media. I've never had a conversation with a sponsor or an advertiser or a PAC or a billionaire or a government. You can trust that everything I tell you is my genuine opinion. I've never been bought out. That being said, I don't make too much money because I refuse to take sponsors. The only money that I make through this is through the AdSense revenue and donations from you, the viewer. So if you would like to donate to the channel, every last dollar goes a long way. There's a couple of ways you could do it. You could buy merch like the Democratic Socialist merch, the Duty Calls merch line. We got mugs, the Constitusi mugs. We got hoodies. We got all that. You can also click the thanks button down below to donate to me directly. You can click the join button down below to become a member. It'll give you access to member-only content and some cool emojis. And then last but not least, you can become a patron on Patreon. Donate $1, $5, $8. Anybody and everybody who's ever donated a dollar to the channel, thank you very much. I love and appreciate you. You're the only reason why we can keep on going. And then other than that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. Without further ado, we're done with the shameless plugs. Let's start diving into the news because this is going to be long. This is going to be a long fucking video, all right? All right, so we got Dropsite News here. Shout out Dropsite News. They're always on that shit. Thank you for the $5 for Luigi. Luigi is healing up. She will hopefully be able to walk again at 6 weeks. All right, let's go. So this is from Delcy Rodriguez, the current sitting president of Venezuela. She was the vice president, and then Maduro was extracted to the U.S. So this is the new president of Venezuela, and here is her statement. A message from Venezuela to the world and to the United States. Venezuela reaffirms its commitment to peace and a peaceful coexistence. Our country aspires to live without external threats in an environment of respect and international cooperation. We believe that global peace is built by first guaranteeing peace within each nation. We prioritize moving towards balanced and respectful international relations between the United States and Venezuela and between Venezuela and other countries in the region, premised on sovereign equality and non-interference. These principles guide our diplomacy with the rest of the world. We invite the U.S. government to collaborate with us on an agenda of cooperation oriented towards shared development within the framework of international law to strengthen lasting community coexistence. President Donald Trump, our peoples and our region deserve peace and dialogue, not war. This has always been President Nicolas Maduro's message, and it is the message of all Venezuela right now. This is the Venezuela I believe in and have dedicated my life to. I dream of a Venezuela where all good Venezuelans can come together. Venezuela has the right to peace, development, and sovereignty and a future. Delcy Rodriguez, acting president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. So, a couple problems here. We're going to point to this one where it says, we invite the U.S. government to collaborate with us. So, Maduro already did that. Maduro already offered, collaboration. You can bring in American investors to our oil lobby. But that's not what Trump wants. That's not what the fascists want. What they want is conquer. They want to conquer your oil. They want to own it. They don't want a share of it. They don't want investments in it. They want to own 100% of it so that the Venezuelan people do not reap the rewards of the minerals buried beneath their own fucking soil. That has always been the goal. Trump even said himself the other day when he was giving his fucking speech, he said this was an attack on sovereignty. Trump does not believe in sovereignty. He does not believe in international law. We don't even respect the ICC, the International Criminal Court. So And what's funny about this is that there was a different opposition leader who was propped up to take over, who was kissing Trump's ring and on her knees, throating his fucking crunchy old dick. Maria Corina Machado, right? She was supposed to take over. We've been covering her for a long time. They, you know, she's pro-Israel, she's pro-America. She was going to let American investors come in. But as soon as the coup d'etat was successful and Nicolas Maduro was removed, Trump added a sixth step to the 5 steps to coup d'etat, in which he kind of did a 360. He said, nah, fuck the opposition. We're not going to put Maria in charge and get you know, pro-oil American involved. No, we're going to just take it. We're going to conquer it. So Trump said we're going to send more boots on the ground. We're going to stay in Venezuela for a year or two. And, you know, it's a vassal state now. Now, here's the thing. If you expect there to be zero resistance while we send U.S. troops into a foreign nation with tens of millions of people for 2 years to harvest their minerals, you're a fucking idiot. I can't fucking help you. We lost 60,000 troops in Vietnam, 7,000 in Iraq. It's never going to go well. It has never once gone well in the history of CIA coup d'etats. Let's move on to the next one here. So I've got a lot of videos here for you. So here is Trump threatening Delcy Rodriguez, the woman we were just talking about, the sitting president. Here, get a look.
Short term, next 2 weeks, what do you need from Delcy Rodriguez? You've threatened Delcy.
Total access. We need total access. We need access to the oil and to other things in their country.
I love how we're literally just doing this for oil. Like, Trump is not even trying to hide it anymore. I've said this before. The government used to piss on your face and tell you it was raining. Now they're pissing on your face and telling you it's pissing, and they expect you to thank them for the piss.
That allow us to rebuild their country.
What other things?
A lot of things. Roads that aren't built, bridges that are falling down. Yeah, bridges that are falling down, nobody can go anywhere.
And on Greenland, you know.
I got more for you. Here's Trump on New Year's Eve. This was, I thought, hilarious. Trump on New Year's Eve, we covered this. He's asked what he wants for 2026. He said peace on earth, and then literally within 48 hours, he fucking bombed Venezuela, murdered 100 civilians, and kidnapped their president. Get a look at this. Maduro's in court right now. I believe it. Dude, look at her face when she says that. Look at Melania's face when he says peace on earth. She can't even believe it. This is his wife's reaction when he said peace on earth, because she knows this is one of the most bloodthirsty warmongers on planet Earth, bro. It's fucking insane. Watch this again. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, the hypocrisy from this fucking man. We've got a perp walk of Maduro here.
You know, we had trend there.
By the way, this is a violation of international law. If Maduro is a POW, which I'm assuming he is, a prisoner of war, you cannot use the media to humiliate POWs.
All over Washington, D.C., and they got the hell beat out of them. Washington, D.C. is the safest city right now in the United States.
Not a city, you dumb fuck.
Thank you very much, everybody.
If you had to sum up Operation Absolute Resolve, would you say that it was about oil or it was about regime change?
Oil.
It's about peace on earth.
Oh, it's about peace on earth. That's why we murdered 100 people? Great.
How is it peace on earth?
Peace on earth. We gotta have peace. It's our hemesphere.
It's our hemisphere. You see what I'm saying? It's all about the Don Roe doctrine. It's about, you know, just ruling through an iron fucking fist.
The Monroe Doctrine was very important when it was done, and other presidents, a lot of them, they lost sight of it. I didn't lose sight, but it really is, it's peace on earth. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
So Trump believes that he can achieve peace on earth no matter how many people he has to murder to fucking get it.
The oil companies are gonna go in and rebuild their system. They're gonna spend billions of dollars, and they're gonna take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property.
They did not steal our property. What he's talking about is when Hugo Chavez nationalized the oil refineries in Venezuela, which is Venezuelan oil. Like, and this is a common thing. If you look at CIA coup d'etats in South America, which we've done to like 14 or 15 different nations, as soon as a nation nationalizes their #1 export, whether it be like in Argentina, it was the or maybe it was Chile, the United Fruit Company, right? We fucking sanctioned the ever-living fuck out of them once they nationalized the United Fruit Company. They did the same thing in Venezuela when they nationalized their oil reserves. This is what you do. Nationalizing your #1 export is a great way to lift your people out of poverty, right? But you're going to have to cut out American investors, which is exactly what Hugo Chavez did. Trump cannot have that. He refuses to allow us to just take a cut. But when he's talking about, quote unquote, they stole our oil, he's talking about them nationalizing their own fucking oil reserves.
Take the oil out of the ground, and we're taking back what they stole. Remember, they stole our property. It was the greatest theft in the history of America. Nobody has ever stolen our property like they have. They took our oil away from us. They took the infrastructure away. And all that infrastructure is rotted and decayed. And the oil companies are going to go in and rebuild it.
He's literally saying, he's like, our oil barons are going to love this. We're doing this for our oil barons. So to the MAGA people who are watching this, I hope you understand you are literally in support of a foreign war simply for oil. And you will not benefit from this. If you think you, average American making $30,000 a year living in a fucking trailer, is going to benefit from this, like, I can't help you. You have a mental disability.
We're not going to spend very much money at all, if anything. But the oil companies are going to go, we're going to take our oil back. But we're going to also do things that, when you look at what he did, the drugs are terrible, but also terrible. He sent hundreds of thousands of people into our country.
No, that's not true. You, Donald, literally welcomed tens of thousands of Venezuelans into the United States. I don't know if you guys remember this. I think it was either 2018 or 2019. Donald Trump welcomed 50,000 Venezuelan refugees into the United States of America, gave them temporary protective status because we attempted a coup d'etat in Venezuela. We tried to put in this guy named Juan Guaido, a CIA plant, as the president, and we failed. And it caused mayhem. So all of these Venezuelans fled, and Trump welcomed them in with open arms. Like, you can't even make this shit up. Trump welcomed in the Venezuelans, and now he's saying that they were illegally brought here from Maduro, who he just invaded, bombed, and extracted. Like, you cannot make this shit up.
That should not be here. And that means from prisons. That means Tren de Aragua, the gang, yes. Tren de Aragua.
Unbelievable. I got more for you.
What's your response to supporters who voted for you, who may be glad and relieved to see Maduro in custody, but may be worried about a forever war?
So this is for you, MAGA voter, who voted for him, and you don't think Maduro was a good guy, neither do I, but you don't really support the idea of a forever war, and you're concerned that we're going to stay there for a long period of time. Here's Trump's reaction to you, MAGA voter, who has concerns.
The voters that voted for me are thrilled. They said, this is what we voted for.
So let's just think about it.
Is this what you voted for, MAGA? I know there's a bunch of MAGA in the chat. Is this truly what you voted for? Just warmongering and conquest and harvesting oil in foreign lands and literally invading and conquering Venezuela, turning them into a vassal state? Is this truly what you voted for? Because I have a compilation I'm going to pull up here. I know you didn't vote for that, because Donald Trump ran on no new wars. He ran on ending the wars on day one. He ran on an era of peace and security. But are you willing to lie and say that this is in fact what you voted for? And I'm looking at the chat, and I know there's a bunch of you in there, and I know that you're not brave, but you can pretend to be brave. For 1 second, you could type out, pretend to be brave. Tell me whether or not you do support foreign wars, or whether you support no new wars, because you can't have both. You can't have both. So the question is, do you support Trump on the campaign, or Trump the president? It's fairly simple. It's fairly simple. This isn't a war, by the way. So I have a question for you, Zombo. If let's take China, because they're a large nation. If China sent in a special operations team, bombed Washington, D.C., killed 100 civilians, kidnapped President Trump, and brought him back to China, would you not consider that an act of war? Would you say, oh, it's technically not war, they didn't declare war? Is that I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, technically it wouldn't be war, but genuinely, ask yourself, if the tables were turned, if the roles were reversed, would you not consider this an act of war? You would. You very well would. You very much so would. Anyway, back to the video.
They said, this is what we voted for.
So let's just think about it. What is the right response when a country sends in tens of thousands of people to overwhelm your system. When a
See,
country
we at least got a chat. We got a message from a Trump voter here. It says, where is it? It says, campaign Trump. I fucking despise this Trump. I would totally have not voted for him if he ran on this. Well, that's why I've been saying this before. Like, if you voted for Donald Trump, chances are you were duped, okay? And I've said this before. I'll say it again. The people who voted for Trump are not inferior. The people who currently support him are inferior. He ran on a fake populist platform. He said, I'm going to end all the wars. I'm going to lower the prices of grocery. It's going to be an era of affordability, right? And now that he's president, he's waging wars. He's not ending them. He says affordability is a hoax. He refuses to release the Epstein files. Like, it's very simple. There are only two people who voted for Donald Trump. Those who were duped and those who are cruel. There's no middle ground. You either knew he was going to do this and you're on board, or you didn't know he was going to do this and you were duped. There is no middle ground. And I would like to say, as much as I bully Trump supporters, you guys do have a home here if you abandon Donald. This is the OAL. That's what I call this chat. The only Americans left. It's an amalgamation of communists, anarchists, Republicans, Democrats, liberals, socialists, you fucking name it. We're all in here because we have one common understanding, which is that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy. I don't expect you all to agree with me on everything that I believe, but I do expect you to believe that Donald Trump is a threat to democracy because it's not refutable. It's not debatable. He makes it abundantly clear. The man attacks the Constitution on the regular. Anyway, I'm going off track here. Let's get back to it.
A country sends in tens of thousands of people to overwhelm your system. When a country is a narco-terrorist state that floods your country with cocaine, that's aligned with Hezbollah, what's the right response?
I can't fucking believe they're hitting that line. They're saying that Venezuela is aligned with Hezbollah. That's how you know Israel is involved. Hezbollah is like an Israel problem. They're not an America problem, but seemingly the Israelis have convinced the average MAGA voter that Venezuela works hand in hand with our three big baddies, Russia, China, and Iran. It's honestly, it's so brazen, it's so obvious. You have to be so stupid to not see this stuff, and it's why I don't consider current Trump supporters to be equal to me. I do believe they are inferior, and it's not because of an intrinsic trait you were born with, it's because of the decisions you have made. If you could see what is going on and still support it, you are inferior. You're like fucking primitive. You're like a caveman.
You blow up the boat before they get here. You take down the source of the problem. President Trump didn't wake up one day and say, hey, let's take Venezuela.
No, he woke up one day and Bibi Netanyahu told him it is time for you to invade Venezuela because I am going to bomb Iran in the next 7 days.
What other people talked about but didn't have the balls or the guts to do it.
And he is, Lindsey Graham is right there. We have been wanting to invade Venezuela for decades, and Trump is the first one to have the balls to do it. And it's not really about courage. It's more so about disregard of international law. He's not brave. He's just the first one who's willing to just completely say, fuck you to international law. There's a scant American support for military action in Venezuela. What you need to know. So only 35% of Americans strongly or somewhat approve of the U.S. blockading sanctioned oil tankers. 2/3 of Republicans support this. That's expected. Republicans are warmongering war hawks. 22% support the U.S. using military to overthrow Maduro. 44% of Republicans support forcibly overthrowing Maduro. 19% support the U.S. using military force to invade Venezuela, and 43% of Republicans support an invasion. So Trump can't even get the majority of Republicans on board, but he doesn't need the majority. As I told you before, you don't live in a democracy. You live in an authoritarian dictatorship. All he needed was to get into power, and now that he's in power, he is going to abandon all of his supporters. And we know this because who benefits the most off of social programs? Red states, rural hospitals, they benefit the most off of the ACA subsidies, off of food stamps, and Trump is making them suffer the most, okay? We also know this because, excuse me, on day one of Trump's second term, He launched a crypto meme coin, and he rug pulled his most loyal supporters. He profited something like $1.2 billion off of his most loyal supporters. And it's because Donald knows his supporters are stupid. That's why he sends them daily emails where he's like, if I don't get $47 from you right now, this entire nation is going to collapse. And as I've said earlier, you need to be mentally disabled to fall for that stuff. And they do. And I know that some of you in the chat fell for it. You are genuinely inferior, but you can, you know, come to terms with it. You can start to learn. You can use logic and critical thinking. You can stop being a cultist. You just have to accept the fact that you were in a cult. Anyway, let's keep on going. We got more here. I got so many tabs. Here is the streets of New York flooding with protesters to oppose Trump's illegal invasion of Venezuela. That's a whole bunch of bullshit. Global protests erupt. Oh, what just happened there? Go back up. I guess there's no volume on this. I think they're burning an American flag. This is in Paris. The entire world is erupting, just so you understand. We are about to lose every single ally that we ever fucking had, which means Trump is probably going to align himself with Russia. The only ally we will not lose over this is Israel, because we are just following their footsteps and what they did in Gaza, but we're going to do it in Venezuela. Thank you for the gifted membership, Mackenzie. Why are the people in Venezuela celebrating? I could ask you the same thing about Iraq, Afghanistan, Argentina, Chile, El Salvador. Every place that we've ever done a CIA coup d'etat, they did celebrate it first because, you know, you have to understand what America represents versus what America is. We represent freedom and democracy. We represent sovereignty, but that's not who we are. So these Venezuelans who are cheering, they probably think that America is going to come in there and liberate them. We're not. We've never liberated any nation that we've occupied. They all failed miserably. But yeah, no, also the Venezuelans who are celebrating are probably the ones who were feeling the boot from Maduro's regime the most. So they were probably the capital owners, the landowners, the people who have a fuckload of money. The exact same thing happened in Cuba after Castro died. A whole lot of wealthy elite started to celebrate because the wealthy elite, they were not profiting when Castro was ruling. Oh, it's just muted. I see. My bad. This is across the entire planet, bro. We got Spain, we got France, we got Brazil.
And show the world that the American people put on our agenda. You're not done. You haven't finished your job. United will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Israel, the Zionist entity, to do whatever they wanted, kill hundreds of thousands of people. And we know the losers in Congress throw us all under the bus.
That guy said Congress, which reminds me, I gotta let you know, I truly do think Congress is moot. I think that Congress is useless, that they have no power anymore, and it's because they didn't have power in the first place. It was like a silent agreement. There's no authoritative body in Congress. Congress rules, the Supreme Court rules, hey, Mr. President, what you just did is illegal and you cannot do that. He keeps on doing it, and there's no authoritative body to enforce the fact that what he did is illegal. You can't arrest him. He's got Secret Service that will guard him until his last day. That's legit. They will never allow anybody to physically touch him. It's all operating off of good faith. So it's why I say that I don't believe the system is broken. I believe the system is working perfectly as intended. The system was designed with all of these loopholes that if you were brazen and cruel enough to jump through, you could. And Trump is brazen enough and cruel enough to do it. You know, this was inevitable. Travelers stranded in the Caribbean as U.S. military operation sends airlines scrambling to add flights. The U.S. military operation that led to the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores also left stranded tourists wondering how to get home or to their next destination after the FAA temporarily closed airspace over the Caribbean. found out the whole situation from other people. The FAA has since lifted the flying restrictions for commercial carrier airlines, have begun adding additional flights after their cancellation left customers scrambling during one of the busiest travel times of the year. So literally as New Year's comes through and all these fucking people are on vacation, Trump shut down the airspace to Puerto Rico and other places in the Caribbean. Marco Rubio says the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela, as Maduro is set to appear in New York court on Monday. And this is the funniest thing, is that MAGA supporters will say that this is not a war, despite the fact that if what we did to Maduro happened to us, they would be demanding military intervention. They would be demanding a declaration of war. And they would be. There's no debating that. Thank you for becoming a member. I wanted to say I use you as a test for who I should unfollow on TikTok. I thought they had backbone, but they're talking shit on you and being cowards. I mean, listen, I take anything, any and all criticism or any and all attention is good attention. I couldn't give less of a fuck about the people who don't like me. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. My opinion, I am true and tried in my beliefs. I believe in what I believe in, and I always fucking will be. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I couldn't give less of a fuck if people disagree with me. All right, we got some footage of the destruction in Venezuela here.
A closer look at the scale of the destruction from the attack on Venezuela, the extraction of Maduro, 150 military aircraft from the U.S. coming in, landing. There was obviously fire exchange. This was the scene you're looking at right here in one of the places targeted. You can see some damage now at what appeared to be a residential complex, just really rubble here.
I actually visited one place that was also affected. I was talking to the neighbors, and they were telling me, you know
what this reminds me of? First week of Israel's invasion, or not invasion, but escalated genocide in Gaza. This shit reminds me of what it looked like in the first week. We were like, damn, that's pretty crazy. Hopefully it stops soon.
Why would the United States attack a residential area or somewhere near a residential area if they're not military targets?
It's because they don't consider anybody in Venezuela to not be a military target. Trump has labeled the entire Venezuelan government as a cartel, which means that anybody and everybody who works for that government is a combatant.
Although this place that I'm talking about is near a communication tower that serves for the military.
Satellite images showing before and after in Venezuela. I'm muting that. That fucking sound is very annoying. It doesn't look like there's too much damage. I mean, I know that there's a color difference probably because of smoke, but oh, that's a lot of fucking damage. Jesus Christ. That's a lot of damage too. So we are Israel? We have always been Israel. Where do you think Israel learned how to do the shit that they do? From us, bro. Israel didn't exist until 1948. We taught them everything they know. Don't think that Israel has any original ideas. We taught them how to genocide. So just some brutal before and after here. Venezuelan official says at least 40 people were killed in U.S. attack. This number has increased to 100 since the release of this article. The official said the dead included civilians and military personnel. At least one of the civilians was killed in a U.S. airstrike outside of Caracas, according to her family. At least 40 people were killed in the U.S. attack on Venezuela early Saturday, including military personnel and civilians. So, quick question, because I know that there are MAGA in the chat. MAGA, are you okay with the dead civilians? Are you okay with that? It's a simple question. Are you okay with us murdering civilians? Because we murdered, I think, 100 of them. Are you okay with that or no? Didn't our genocide of the indigenous also inspire the Nazis? Yes. Our Jim Crow laws and segregation period inspired the Nazis. Hitler wrote about that extensively. Say fuck no. MAGA voters say fuck no. I know that there's a bunch of MAGA voters in here, so you guys can admit, is it okay that we killed like 100 civilians? Or are you not okay with that? It's a simple question. Are you okay with it or no? I'll let you think about that while we keep on moving. Photos show the people reacting to U.S. capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Got a bunch of photos here. So here's people in Venezuela celebrating, or what is this? Oh no, these are government supporters demanding Nicolas Maduro's release from the U.S. They're holding up their fingers for peace. They want peace, not war. Free Maduro. These are all protesters who want Maduro back. End U.S. imperialist aggression, no war in Venezuela. Praying for his safe return. Thank you for becoming a loyalist. A lot of pictures here. So these are the crowds in Venezuela. Now, I know that a lot of you are seeing footage online of people celebrating, Venezuelans celebrating. Those are not in Venezuela. Those are in Florida. Those are the wealthy elite, the Venezuelan wealthy elite who fled Venezuela to America in order to maintain their millions and millions of dollars that they got through slave labor. But no, the Venezuelans, there's a handful of them who are celebrating, but it is almost entirely CIA propaganda. It's the entire fucking point. And that is step 4 of a coup d'etat. You need to manufacture consent. You need to convince the American people that we're actually saving them. That's a huge part of this. Let's keep on going. This is my point, guys. If you can see this stuff and you think that when we send in more boots on the ground and we stay for years that they're not going to see any resistance, you're incredibly, incredibly naive. You're incredibly stupid. We're about to move into a very, very, very bad conflict. A very bloody era for the United States of America. This is what I'm talking about. You see this? This is that militia that Maduro has. Maduro has 4.5 million active members of his militia, not to include the Venezuelan military. But this is very apropos to talk about Vietnam, right? We didn't just fight the North Vietnamese army, like an actual army. We also fought the Viet Cong, right? My father was in the United States Army. He fought in Vietnam, and he never once got into a firefight with the NVA, the North Vietnamese Army. That was much more for the Marines who were fighting an urban conflict. But my father and the 40,000 troops who fucking died, they died to a militia. They died to rebels. They died to the Viet Cong, farmers by day, soldiers by night. When you move into a foreign jungle who is used to foreign occupation and they know this land like the back of their hand, they have the home field advantage, and on top of that, they actually have morale. They have something to fight for, which is their freedom. It doesn't matter if you outnumber them. It doesn't matter if you out-tech them. You are fucked. They're not leaving. This is their home. You are the one who has to defend your priorities, your resources, your oil. Like, it is very, 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 very bad. We're about to move into a new era of guerrilla warfare in the jungle, fighting against people like this. Like, I'll bet you this is one of the nicest women you'll ever meet in your fucking life, but now that we're invading them, she's gonna end up a goddamn rebel. How popular was Trump's move to intervene militarily? So, foreign intervention inside of Venezuela. 55% opposed it, only 23% supported it. So, to the MAGA voter in here who is surrounded by CIA bots and you probably think you're part of a big community, only 23% of the United States supports this war. So, again, I can't really help you. You are so propagandized that you think you are in the silent majority when you are in fact in the screaming minority. You are in like your cry bullies. You fucking punch people in the face and then start to sob uncontrollably when they fight back. And that's what's going to happen. Trump just punched Venezuela in the face. And when Venezuela tries to fight back, all the MAGA supporters are going to fucking cry, sucking on their thumbs, going, how dare you kill American soldiers? How dare you fight back? How dare you? And it's like, well, you invaded. You kidnapped their leader. You bombed their land. You killed hundreds of civilians. What the fuck did you expect was going to happen? Got an NPR article here for you. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the rise and fall of Nicolas Maduro. Medellin, Colombia. On New Year's Eve, just 3 days before the U.S. military personnel would rouse him from his sleep and deliver him to a New York City jail, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro drove through the center of Caracas, narrating the city's landmarks to a friendly interviewer. As he steered, he lingered on history and nostalgia. He recalled a 1959 speech by Fidel Castro in downtown Caracas, marveled at his childhood home, and after 40 minutes of conversation, finally acknowledged the U.S. warships gathered on Venezuela's coast. We got a $10 donation here. It says, remember, folks, we have guerrilla militias in South America South America armed with the same guns, tanks, missiles that Uncle Sam traded for stolen goods like oil, gold, emeralds, bananas, humans, and illicit drugs. Yeah, don't forget the CIA, the U.S. military. We not only did we arm and fund all of these rebel groups that we're going to fight against, we trained them. We trained them. Okay, so it's not going to be like fighting against, you know, some flip-flop wearing guy in a robe with an AK-47. No, you're going to be up against your own weaponry. You're going to be up against your own fucking weaponry. Quote, if they want oil, Venezuela is ready for U.S. investment like Chevron, Maduro said in a video broadcast by state television, whenever they want it, wherever they want it, and however they want it. Now, again, I highlighted this in the beginning to tell you it's not about investment. We're not okay with investment. We want all of it. We want to just take it because we have gotten into the most primitive we've gotten the most primitive fucking people in our government that you could imagine. I mean, it's literally law of the jungle now. Might makes right, according to these people. So, Venezuelan opposition reports the so-called, quote, capture of Maduro was a negotiated deal between Maduro and the U.S. for an agreed exit strategy. So, we've got this. Maduro likely already has purchased property in Dubai to retire to. He'll hand over oil rights and contracts to U.S. Resource Corp oligarchs and billions to the Trump family laundered through third parties. The threat of invasion is basically a shakedown to ensure that he provides more loot. If anything does get bombed in Venezuela, it'll be a death theater to help legitimize the deal. Venezuelans will pay the check Maduro is ready to cash. A large sum of the national wealth for Venezuela has already been transferred out of the country by Trump allies in Russia. Now, I knew this was happening the day of because I have a couple of friends in the DEA, and they sent me a picture of Maduro with a bunch of DEA agents, and he had his thumbs up, they had their hand on his back, everybody was smiling. Maduro made a deal, and the deal was to sell out his own people so that America can conquer the entire fucking nation. And this is because, as we talked about before, Maduro's a fucking piece of shit, dude. He's a fucking piece of shit. And Trump loves pieces of shit. That's why he abandoned Maria Corina Machado, because Maria was on her knees begging, going, no, please, I'll do anything you want. I'll move the Venezuelan embassy into Jerusalem if you want. I'll do anything you want. Please, Mr. President, you can have my Nobel Peace Prize. And that was weakness. We all saw it. We all said, oh my God, this is pathetic. This is weak. And Trump saw that too. And Trump says, I don't want to involve myself with weakness. I like authoritarian rule. So he's buddied up with Maduro and making a fucking deal with him. A large sum of the national wealth for Venezuela has already been transferred out of the country by Trump allies and Russia. And this is because Trump is working hand in hand with Vladimir Putin and Bibi Netanyahu.
Location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. Really, no, we haven't.
Mr. President, do you have any hesitations about Machado? Mr. President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but
so he's saying that the opposition leader, the CIA plant, Maria Corina Machado, who had been trained for this moment, who was going to take over after 100 hours, Operation 100 Hours is what they called it. He's in the last second saying that no, she will not actually be doing it, and we will take over Venezuela. The United States will rule Venezuela as a vassal state. And it's because, like Maduro said, Machado was down to let America invest in their oil. But no, we don't want to invest. We want to own.
Within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect to be
She doesn't have the respect. That's what he says. She doesn't have the respect. Meanwhile, nobody respects Donald Trump. Literally fucking nobody. Venezuela's opposition rejoiced at Maduro's abduction, but Trump doesn't seem interested in working with them. So that's Maria Corina Machado I was talking about. In the immediate hours following U.S. forces bombing Caracas and abducting Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Venezuela's beleaguered opposition was ecstatic. Quote, Venezuelans, the hour of freedom has arrived, declared Maria Corina Machado, the leader of Venezuelan's opposition movement and recipient of the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. But after U.S. President Donald Trump expressed a lack of confidence in Machado and suggested he'd instead partner with Maduro loyalist Delcy Rodriguez, the opposition's official channels were quiet for most of the days. So we pretended like we didn't support the Maduro regime when in fact we do like strongmen, we do like dictators. We just wanted the oil. So it seems like Delcy Rodriguez is down for letting America harvest all the oil. But if you saw the post we said earlier, she might not be. She might not be down to sell out her country. She might have thought that she was, but now that she saw all the bloodshed, she's realizing she'll literally get fucking strung up by her own people if she allows this. So I don't know where we're headed, but I'm going to expect there to be militia resistance in Venezuela against our own troops. Machado had called for the immediate installation of Edmundo Gonzalez as president and for the Venezuelan military to fall in behind him. Most Western governments regard Gonzalez as the legitimate winner of the contested 2024 presidential election in Venezuela. It's unbelievable. Now, I got a lot of footage here for you. We're going to talk about this.
Will you, Mr. President, throw your support behind opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who, as you recall, won the Nobel Peace Prize and then in turn dedicated it to you?
She was jumping through every hoop she could to grease up Donald. She wanted to give him the 2025 Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize that she got. She wanted him to just do whatever the fuck he wanted, man. She was on her fucking knees begging for it.
For your efforts in pressuring Maduro, are you going to fully support her to take over to run the country?
Well, we're going to have to look at it. Right now, they have a vice president, as you know. I mean, I don't know about what kind of an election that was.
By the way, if we really cared about destroying the Maduro regime, we would have kidnapped the vice president as well.
But, you know, the election of Maduro was a disgrace, just like my election was a disgrace. 2020.
You're right. Your election was a fucking disgrace.
Was a disgrace. And, you know, a real disgrace. Now, 2024 was too big to rig. But what he did was, I mean, his was open. I would say, frankly, you want to know the truth? I think Charlie would testify this. It wasn't a hell of a lot worse than what they did to us in 2020. It was our election was a disgrace in 2020, and everyone knows it. And now it's come out, and it's come out even in the legal form. But it was disgraceful. He had an election that was a rigged election, and the people have no love for him, that's for sure. He had very little loyalty.
People have no love for you, Donald. You have like a 30% approval rating.
Any loyalty. He was a dictator who was a tough cookie, and he ran it tough, and the people can't believe they got so lucky.
I got more for you. Trump admin officials tell Zeteo News that Trump is, quote, very interested in secret plans drawn up last year to send U.S. Special Forces into Mexico. So Trump is now threatening to do the exact same thing that he did to Maduro, but to do it to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico. This is an insane escalation. As you all know, Mexico is our closest neighbor, right on the southern border. We've always relied on the relationship that we have with Mexico, but we're genuinely moving into the Fourth Reich. We're moving into the Fourth Reich shit, where Trump is just going to conquer and invade any nation that he wants and harvest their resources and enslave their fucking people. We are genuinely the modern Nazi party. I know that we've been saying for a long time that Israel is the modern Nazis, and they are. But Israel is a 51st state. Israel is an extension of American imperialism. We are the ones who drive the car. They are simply in the passenger seat.
But we can't take a chance after having done this incredible thing last night of letting somebody else take over, where we have to do it again. We can do it again, too. Nobody can stop us.
We have to do it again. We will do it again. Nobody can stop us. That is exactly what Hitler said. Hitler did truly believe that nobody could stop him. Until fucking that man did. Okay? Don't fool yourself into thinking the Americans stopped him. We didn't. The Soviets took out 91% of all German casualties during World War II. The Soviets won that fucking war. We barely participated.
Somebody that has the capability that we have. You know, when I watched that war in Russia going on and on and on and everybody dying, and it's like, it's primitive. It's primitive. It's horrible. It's really horrible.
Could you tell it?
And they're fucking laughing. And they're fucking laughing, bro.
This operation a message that you're sending to Mexico, to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president there?
Well, it wasn't meant to be, and we're very friendly with her. She's a good woman, but the cartels are running Mexico. She's not running Mexico. The cartels are running Mexico.
This is exactly what he said about Venezuela. They're just going to repeat the exact same line for every South American country that they can. They're going to claim that the entire government is a cartel, and because of that, they are all terrorists. And because they are terrorists, Trump does not need congressional approval to bomb them. Now, the thing is, he doesn't need congressional approval regardless. The Wartime Resolution Act did not go through. Congress voted down keeping their power to declare war. It is now single-handedly in the president's hands, which is, again, antithetical to democracy. You have elected officials. You vote for elected officials because you trust them, and they are the ones who are supposed to decide whether or not we wage war. But now we have a Fuhrer,
and we could be politically correct and be nice and say, "Oh yes, she is." No, she's very, she's very frightened of the cartels. They're running Mexico, and I've asked her numerous times, Would you like?
Now, here's the thing. There is definitely cartel involvement with the Mexican government, but that does not give us carte blanche to invade their nation with special forces, kidnap their leader, bomb their civilians, and bomb their cities and murder their civilians.
Just to take out the cartels. No, 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 Mr.
Thank you for the $7. Why is it anytime you make any geopolitical and historical statements, they are always totally wrong? If you could tell me what I've said that was incorrect, I would love to know. Thank you for the $7.
President, no, 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 please. So we have to do something because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. You know, like
and by the way, if you're watching this pre-recorded on YouTube, I want you to take note of the stuff that you're seeing, like the chat messages that I'm reading out loud. The right wing is coping incredibly. It's incredibly difficult, but they have to cope with the fact that they voted for no new wars. They voted for peaceful dove. They voted for we're going to make things affordable again, and they're getting none of it. So they have to find a way to cope with the reality, which is they were duped. You were all duped. You claimed he was going to end the war in Ukraine on day one. You claimed he was going to create world peace. You claimed he was going to lower the prices of groceries. You claimed he was going to release the Epstein files. You claimed all these things. He's done quite literally nothing. He's done none of that. He has waged war. He bombed Lebanon. He bombed Syria. He bombed Yemen. He bombed Nigeria. He bombed Iran. We're arming Israel to bomb Gaza. He bombed Venezuela. He wants to invade Mexico. He wants to invade Colombia. He wants to invade Greenland. He wants to invade Canada. Like, you simply, and I do mean this. You need to be mentally impaired in order to still support Donald Trump. And, you know, I'm not ableist. I don't want to bully people with mental disabilities, but I think we might have to. Like, the only possible way for a mentally disabled Trump supporter to finally see the light is if they live a life of shame. They have to be shamed. They have to be degraded because they don't understand reality. They're not capable of critical thinking or logic or reasoning. They think that the $30,000 that they make living in a fucking trailer, they think they're going to make $70,000 a year if we just bomb Venezuela. They think they'll make $100,000 a year if we deport all the Muslims. These people don't understand that the boot that has been on their neck for generations is the billionaire class. And it doesn't matter what country you go to or what time period you go to. You go to any country, any time period, there'll be different ruling classes, right? It'll be, you know, it doesn't matter. No matter where it is, there's only one common through line, which is the wealthy versus the poor. That has always been the through line. There is a small margin of incredibly wealthy elites who have always had their boots on the necks of the masses who are collectively living in poverty. That is the one common through line, no matter what nation, no matter what time period you go to. And if you're incapable of recognizing that, it's willful ignorance. You are purposefully ignoring it. Unless you're a child, you know, children don't know how this fucking world works. They don't understand that it's about power. It's about who has more power, not who is morally correct. And, you know, unless you're a fucking child, if you could support this stuff and you're not a child, you have a child's brain. That's why I said that you're mentally disabled. You're either willfully ignorant or mentally disabled. It's very simple.
100,000, 100,000,
It's remarkable.
300 thing because we lost. The real number is 300,000 people, in my opinion. You know, they like to say 100,000. 100,000 is a lot of people, but the real number is 300,000 people, and we lost it to drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada too, by the way, in case you don't know. But they come in through the southern border, and
we got more for you. I have so many fucking tabs to show you.
Being reported right now that
U.S. military veteran
Caracas is under attack, getting bombed from the air, possibly from drones. There's been reports of blackouts. This is a message for all active duty. If you ever get this, I want you to know something, that America is not behind you. This ain't like the Afghan war and the Iraqi war.
It's true. We're not. And I need anybody watching this who's in the military to understand, we do not support you in this war. I'm not going to cry when you lose your life. I'm not going to... you're not going to get war bonds. We do not support you. We do not want you to fucking succeed.
Where you got to come home and be celebrated as a hero, have romantic movies made for you in Hollywood. Nah.
You're not getting any of that. No, like, and I do mean this. Like, in the next 10, 20 years, there's going to be a lot of people who wear hats that say Venezuela veteran. You know, it's going to... spit in their faces. Tell them they're a disgrace. Tell them they are a fucking waste and that they fought for Chevron and ExxonMobil. Do not give them support. Do not thank them for their service. Tell them that they are pathetic worms that refused, that did not refuse illegal orders. They are worms. They are pathetic little rats.
Is like, what the fuck right now? So understand, if this ever I hope this gets to some fucking Navy dudes. If you are in the Navy, if you are in the Air Force, and you are behind the bombing of Caracas, Venezuela, America is not behind you. You will not be celebrated as a hero. You're a piece of shit.
Yes, you fucking are, and you're getting this from your own fellow brother in the military. I know that, like, you hear me say you don't really give a shit. This is your own fellow brother in the fucking military. You're all pieces of shit.
You are a piece of shit for following orders from fucking old, decrepit, corrupt men who are fucking over all of Americans right now. And now they're fucking over Venezuelans. America is not behind you, U.S. military. We are not behind you. You will not be celebrated. You have the freedom to turn down orders right now. If you are taking orders to bomb Caracas and bomb Venezuela, a sovereign country, and killing civilians,
you should be charged with terrorism.
Bombing civilian infrastructure, attacking even military targets. You are violating every fucking law. Not just man-made law. I'm talking about just the law of morality, the laws of the universe. If you are active duty, you have the ability to say no.
You don't have the ability to say no. You are contractually obligated to say no. If you are given an illegal order and you follow that order, it doesn't matter whether or not you knew it was illegal. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse from the law. You have to refuse illegal orders, and this is why those Democrats like Mark Kelly made that video. They were trying to warn you that, like, and I do need you to really understand me if you're in the United States military. They don't care about you. They will tell you to commit an illegal order. And when you do commit that illegal order, your higher-ups will not see the consequences. You will. You will be court-martialed and you will spend the rest of your life in Fort Leavenworth. And the U.S. military will not come to save you. They do not care about you. They never fucking cared about you. You are a weapon, and a weapon is replaceable. They do not see you as a human being. That is why you and I have different fucking rights. That is why me, a civilian, I have more freedom than you, because I'm viewed as a person. You are viewed as a rifle. It's that fucking simple. And I come from a military family. My dad served in Vietnam. My grandfather fought the Japanese. My other grandfather fought the Germans in Normandy. My uncle fought in Korea. We understand this. You are obligated to say no when given an illegal order. And if you don't know that, and you don't know that it's an illegal order, no love lost. Have fun in Fort Leavenworth.
You have the ability to turn down orders. I suggest you do so, because you will not be celebrated as a fucking hero. You will be seen as a piece of shit by all Americans, except your old fucks who are sitting in front of the TV watching Fox News.
Incredible. Shout out to this guy, Bricktop Nafo. Shout out to this guy. I like him.
Of course, the countries, Cuba, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, with Russia relationships. Why this region matters, with all of its rich resources and rare earth elements. You've got the lithium triangle, which is needed for technology today. 60% of the world's lithium is in the lithium triangle: Argentina, Bolivia, Chile. You just have the largest oil reserves, light sweet crude, discovered off of Guyana over a year ago. You have Venezuela's resources as well, with oil, copper, gold. We have the Amazon, lungs of the world. We have the 31% of the world's fresh water in this region, too. I mean, it's just off the charts. We have a lot to do. This region matters.
By the way, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. What you are living through is the introduction to what will be called the resource war. All of these global superpowers are finally coming to terms with the fact that the resources, the fuel that we have been so reliant on for hundreds of years is in fact a finite resource. Fossil fuels are a finite resource. Oil is a finite resource. So they are now fighting to collect as much of it as they possibly can before they lose access to it in the future. Pete Hegseth just donated $5. Said, Chris, I ran out of Kahlua for my coffee. Can you ask the FBI agent watching you to get me some more? Yeah, I can. Hey, Alan, could you bring Pete Hegseth a little bit more Kahlua for his morning coffee and whiskey? Thanks.
It has a lot to do with national security, and we need to step up our game.
So the war hawks in D.C., they have been waiting for this opportunity for literally fucking decades, and Trump is just the first man to have the balls to do it. How about we're buying oil? Oh, this is old. So this is from when Trump was running in his second term. And I showed this clip a million times on stream, guys. This is, you should not be surprised that we invaded Venezuela. This was Trump about 5 years ago.
How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil.
This is Chris, remove the ads in your lives are so annoying. I got to make money somehow, man. I don't do sponsorships. I don't do advertisements. I got to make money somehow. So I got the little bit of ad cents. I make something like fucking 15 cents per ad or some shit like that.
Right next door. Taking it ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. But now we're buying oil from Venezuela, so we're making a dictator very rich. Can you believe this? Nobody can believe it. You know where the oil, their oil is garbage. It's horrible. The worst you can get, tar. It's like tar. And to refine it, you need special plants. And these people...
So Trump have been talking about conquering Venezuela for the past 5 years. The war hawks in D.C. have been talking about it for about 50.
And oil rights, whatever we had, they took it away because we had a president that maybe wasn't watching. But they're not going to do that. We want it back. They took our oil rights. We had a lot of oil there. As you know, they threw our companies out. And
Thank you for the $100 donation, Pete Hegseth. Turn the ads in your next live or this one if you can. I cannot do that. I will not do that. Thank you for the $100, though. If you don't want to see ads, bro, you got to get YouTube Premium.
As you know, they threw our companies out, and we want it back.
So this is also a crock of shit. We never fucking... The Venezuelans never stole oil from us. They didn't steal anything from us. They nationalized their own oil reserves, but we deem that to be our oil because of the Monroe Doctrine. Venezuela's Maduro says Trump's comments on land and oil reveal his true motives. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro said on Wednesday that the U.S. counterpart Donald Trump had revealed his true motives towards the South American country with his claim that it had stolen U.S. oil, land, and other assets. Maduro said this, quote, "It is simply a warmongering and colonial pretense, and we have said so many times, and now everyone sees the truth. The truth has been revealed." The aim in Venezuela is a regime change to impose a puppet government that wouldn't last 47 hours. Why did you say 47? Because Trump's the 47th president? That's so stupid. That would hand over the Constitution, sovereignty, and all the wealth, turning Venezuela into a colony. It will simply never happen. Well, he is wrong. It is going to happen. It is currently happening. The only difference is that we are going to just fight tooth and nail for it. We're going to lose a lot of fucking American soldiers' lives over there. All right. Got a little compilation here of Donald Trump saying that he's a peaceful dove that would start no new wars. So again, if you are a Trump supporter and you are in here, please watch this and remember who you voted for versus who you got as a president.
Said, oh, he's going to start a war because they said I had that personality to start a war. They remember that? Oh, we can't vote for him. He's going to start a war. No, I used my personality that we didn't have to have wars. I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. Who started no new wars and no new wars. No new wars. We don't need the wars, foreign lands, countries you've never heard of, countries that don't even want us there. I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. I was the first president in decades who started no new wars. We will expel the warmongers from our government. You know, we never got into a war with me. I have a great record. We had peace. We had prosperity. We had no wars. We had no wars. That started no wars. We didn't have a war. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will expel the warmongers from our government. We will expel the warmongers from our government.
I'm gonna let it
and
run.
we had no wars. When you see all the people that died in these horrible wars in the Middle East and everything else, countries didn't want us. Look at Trump. Just look at this guy. He's going to go to war. He's going to take us. No. Look at me. I'm the one that kept us out of war. You know, I'm the only president that didn't start a war. I didn't start a war.
This president, no wars.
Started no wars. You're going to end up in a war. Or war or no war, They like a war. They love wars. You know, they love killing people. It's so wonderful. You know, I'm the only president in many, many decades that didn't start a war. They're the party of endless wars. I was the first president in decades who started no new war. There are wars all over.
I'm going to pause it, but we're going to keep on playing. So to the MAGA supporters in the chat, because I know you're here, bite the bullet, smell the roses, accept reality. You were fucking duped. There's no two ways about it. You were duped. You were lied to, and you fell for it.
Trump, it'll all end. It all ended. We had no problem. I'm going to keep you out of wars. I kept you out of wars. We had no wars with Donald Trump as your president. Remember when crooked Hillary Clinton used to say, he's going to get us into a war. Look at him. Look at his rhetoric. I said, no, my rhetoric's going to keep us out of wars. That's what happened.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And the craziest part is the average MAGA supporter will literally plug their ears, close their eyes, and go, la, 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 we're not in war, we're not at war, we're not at war, we're not at war. Meanwhile, Trump said, I'm going to bomb Iran again. He bombed Nigeria on Christmas Day. He bombed Venezuela and kidnapped their president. He bombed Venezuelan fishing boats. He bombed Yemen. He bombed Somalia. He bombed Lebanon. Like, it's just never-ending war. It's just never-ending the war. The guy is fucking obsessed with war. So, again, to the MAGA voter, get on your hands and knees and eat my shitty fucking asshole, you inferior rat. Let's keep on moving. We got more to talk about.
Had an unbelievable...
So, again, friendly reminder, if you do support the invasion of Venezuela, you are loyal to Benjamin Netanyahu. You are very pro-Israel. This is non-debatable. This is irrefutable. If you support the invasion of Venezuela and the conquering of their oil, you are a Zionist and you are a really good goy. You're a good goy. You love Israel and you are loyal to Benjamin Netanyahu.
We've had an unbelievable success, and by degrading Iran, which was a first-rate power, now it's a second-rate or third-rate power. They were throwing their weight all over the place, exporting terrorism, not only to every part of the
Venezuela equals Israel, got it? No, the only reason why we bombed Venezuela is because of Israel, because Donald Trump is beholden to this man, Bibi Netanyahu, because Jeffrey Epstein, who is a Mossad agent, gathered videos and evidence of Donald Trump fucking children because he's a sex trafficking pedophile who you were in full support of, and Israel is going to bomb Iran again, which is going to render the oil flow out of the Middle East relatively obsolete once the Iranians annex the Strait of Hormuz. So America and Israel needed a second oil flow. So they're taking it from Venezuela. All of this is Benjamin Netanyahu's idea, and you fell for it because you're a good boy and you're loyal to Israel.
Middle East, but to Venezuela.
This is 2 days, by the way, 2 days before Trump bombed it.
Every part of the Middle East, but to Venezuela. They're in cahoots with the Maduro regime, you know. They're exporting terrorism to America, to the American hemisphere, and then they want these Hezbollah and Hamas to get their...
So now Netanyahu is claiming that Hezbollah and Hamas are in Venezuela.
They're guys into the United States. So Hamas and Iran's and its proxies are a threat not only to us, but to Israel, all America's allies in the Middle East, and to America itself.
So again, this is irrefutable. Facts do not care about your feelings. If you support the war in Venezuela, you are loyal to Benjamin Netanyahu and the nation of Israel because you're a really good boy. Because you're such a good boy. You get the Fell For It Again award, you fucking piece of shit. All right, Project 2025 suggests that U.S. interference in Venezuela government on 3 separate pages. This has always been the plan. It was in Project 2025 from the fucking beginning. I got a clip of Jon Stewart here, okay? This is some parallels between Iraq and Venezuela, and this is because we're not even original anymore. The CIA they know how stupid you are. I'm talking to the MAGA voter. The CIA knows how stupid you are. You don't even know how stupid you are, but the CIA does. So they're not even coming up with new original propaganda. They're just running the old hits.
Parallel? Well, we got one guy making the same case for both wars. And yes, it's who you think.
Saddam Hussein's a threat to my country. He's a threat to our way of life. He needs to go.
Maduro is a...
Before we continue, real quick, are there any MAGA supporters in the chat that can pretend to be brave enough to say, I support the bombing of Venezuela? Please pretend to be brave and just say it out loud, because I really would love to have somebody to point and laugh at.
Existential threat to the people of the United States.
It is time for Maduro to go.
Hit me with the works. Iraq, Venezuela, go!
We're giving them full opportunity to do it the easy way. And when it doesn't work, we'll do it the hard way.
If we can do things the easy way, that's fine. And we have to do it the hard way, that's fine too.
Chemical weapons is a threat to the United States.
Fentanyl poses a chemical weapons threat to the United States.
I would like to point out the fact that there are a lot of MAGA supporters in the chat, but not one of them is brave enough to admit it, or brave enough, or capable of pretending to be brave to admit it. There isn't one of them.
Al-Qaeda terrorists inside Iraq.
Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere.
If we can get rid of Saddam, it could really begin to transform the region.
There's an opportunity to transform the entire region.
Bringing freedom and democracy.
Democracy and freedom
can serve as a
beacon of hope.
Shock and awe. Shock and awe, indeed. If you think this is getting confusing, you're not alone. Even senators can't keep these Bush or Trump wars straight. This is Senator Tom Cotton from this weekend.
I think President Bush has every power under the Constitution to strike.
Literally said President Bush. It is such a repeat that these people are getting deja vu of the Iraq invasion, and they're calling Trump President Bush.
National waters.
Oopsie poopsie.
Venezuela has the largest reserves of oil in the world. Venezuela that has a rich, talk about rich natural energy resources.
Massive oil reserve. They have gold. They have rare earths.
Oil, gold, and minerals. And I'm sure there are U.S. companies that would like to do business there.
Venezuela, for the American oil companies, will be a field day.
I didn't think this war was a wise decision, but if it helps the oil companies smile again.
And America First means we need a Western hemisphere where America is dominant.
If you're focused on America and America first, you start with your own hemisphere where we live.
America First also means the Americas first.
South America literally has the name America in it.
That is so representative of the MAGA voter that they think that the United States of America like owns both Americas. Like that's not something that you can fix. That's something that like only mentally disabled people believe that.
Eerie is the Iraq.
Anyway, I got more for you.
Is anyone gonna just stop for a second and be honest? This is insane. What the hell are we doing? I mean, we've got a lot of problems in America today, and invading, occupying, running Venezuela does not solve any of them.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. There are many problems in America, but the people who are facing this suffering and these problems are average run-of-the-mill Americans, the working class. Donald Trump despises the working class. He thinks you're fucking disgusting. The fact that you sweat at work and you have calloused hands, he thinks that's fucking disgusting, and he wants to stay away from you. Trump and the Epstein class, the rest of the Epstein class, they're not feeling any pain. They're profiting relentlessly from this. So they will always continue to do this stuff. They don't care about the American people. They want you to fucking die. I mean, Stephen Miller himself said that this nation would operate better at a 200 million population. So he wants to rid this nation of 160 million fucking people. There aren't even that many immigrants here. This is from Ro Khanna, friend of the show, friend of mine. How you doing, Ro? If you're watching this, he's definitely running for president. Donald Trump betrayed his MAGA base today, launching a war of choice to bring regime change in Venezuela. We keep voting against dumb wars. We keep voting against dumb wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Libya. But our presidents bow to a foreign policy blob committed to militarism. This foreign policy blob is called Israel. They get us entangled in conflicts abroad while ignoring the lack of good jobs and high costs for Americans at home. What will we say now if Xi Jinping wants to capture Lai of Taiwan or Putin tries to capture Zelensky in Ukraine? The times call for a movement of the American people to stand against bloated defense budgets and warmongering. We need statesmen who will heed the advice of Washington and our founders and invest in jobs, healthcare, childcare, and education for our people. I love Ro Khanna. I will vote for him if he runs for president in 2028. I'll definitely vote for him over Gavin Newsom, who, if you don't know, one of my recent videos is about this. Gavin Newsom is raising money from billionaires to resist a legislation that would raise the taxes on billionaires. Gavin Newsom said it is not pragmatic to increase the taxes of the billionaire class. This is because Gavin Newsom loves billionaires. He's, you know, he loves Silicon Valley. He wants their fucking money. He's in this for profit, not for being a good man. All right, moving on. Zelensky on Maduro. I love this one. So Zelensky is pointing out the obvious, which is, hey, if you're capable of doing this to dictators, why the fuck haven't you done this to Putin yet? And I've said this a million times. Why don't we send in special operations? Why don't we do like a joint operation with different NATO countries and just, you know, storm the Winter Palace, kidnap fucking Putin, bring him back to the US and charge him? But no, we won't do that because Trump is allied with them.
Так, з диктаторами ось так, то Сполучені Штати Америки знають, що їм робити.
So he's speaking in Ukrainian, but what he said is, what can I say here? If this can be done to dictators like that, then the U.S. knows what they should do next. He is very clearly saying that if this is what we can do to dictators, why have we not done this to Putin yet? So world leaders are reacting to the U.S. attack on Venezuela, and they are not fucking happy. The UK Prime Minister said the government would shed no tears for the end of Maduro's regime. That's expected from the UK. They're equally as imperialistic as we are. Russia accused the U.S. of committing an act of armed aggression. Iran... that was one thing. Iran, the Ayatollah of Iran, Khamenei, said that he has a plan that if America attacks Iran again, he's just going to flee to Moscow. That is his plan. Latin American countries condemned the U.S. Brazil condemned us. Colombia condemned us. Cuba condemned us. These are all nations that we will be fucking conquering in the future. Excuse me. More pictures of Maduro's perp walk. Thank you for the $20. More pictures of Maduro's perp walk here in New York. Maduro awaits court appearance. I think this has been updated since I started this, so let's see. I'm pretty sure he pled innocent. I'm pretty sure Maduro pled not guilty to all of his charges.
And President Gustavo Petro, a couple weeks ago, you said he's got to watch his ass.
Gustavo Petro is the president of Colombia.
He does have to watch his ass.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about.
Was this operation a message that you're sending to Mexico, to Claudia Sheinbaum, the president there?
The drugs, and they come in through the southern border, mostly the southern border. Plenty come in through Canada, too, by the way.
That's a threat to Canada.
Something's going to have to be done with Mexico.
Mr. President,
So he's threatened war with the entire Western Hemisphere. I got another clip for you here.
The National Guard out of Portland in Los Angeles.
Oh, he's also threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act. So always remember, the cruelty that we practice overseas always makes its way home. So now Trump is saying that he will invoke the Insurrection Act to deploy the U.S. military to all 50 states of the United States of America.
And you know what? You know that Portland, we got it down to almost no crime. You know that? But we pulled it out. We had a Supreme Court decision. We can go back. We're allowed to go back in. But we'll go back in when the crime starts. Look, the crime will soon start because they now know that we're out. And at the appropriate time, we'll go back in, and we may, if we're allowed to. The most powerful thing we haven't used the Insurrection Act.
You're considering using the Insurrection Act?
I've always considered it, but we haven't needed it anywhere. 48% of the presidents of this country have used it.
That's not true.
Bush used it, I think, 22 times or something, you know.
That's not true either.
I mean, Bush the elder.
So now Trump is threatening to wage war on the American population as well.
Venezuela.
Do you expect to take an action against Greenland?
I don't want to talk about Greenland. Talk about Venezuela, Russia, Ukraine, and we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months.
Hear that? He said, we'll worry about Greenland in about 2 months. So if you're watching this from Greenland, please understand the United States military is going to invade you in about 2 months.
Let's talk about Greenland in 20 days.
On Venezuela, we talked so much about energy.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security.
Somebody says at one point is enough till he's impeached. It wouldn't do anything. Trump has been impeached twice. You are supposed to step down when impeached, but he will not step down because he is a dictator.
Security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
What would the justification be, sir? What would the justification?
To boost up security in Greenland, they added one more dog sled. It's true.
Sir,
they thought that was a great move.
What would the justification be for a claim to Greenland? What would the justification be?
He doesn't need justification. Might is right, law of the jungle. I'm capable of taking it, therefore I will.
I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it. And they know that.
I think there's something.
It's unbelievable. The guy's the biggest warmonger in American history, and I do mean that. There has never been a president who was a bigger warmonger than Donald Trump.
National security. Not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland.
Got more for you. Audio only here.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland.
Oh, we just heard that one. That's okay. Just heard that one. Luigi's about to bark. Here's Lindsey Graham, fucking war hawk.
He did something people talked about doing. You just wait for Cuba. Cuba is a communist dictatorship that's killed priests and nuns. They've preyed on their own people. Their days are numbered. We're going to wake up one day, I hope in 26, in our backyard, we're going to have allies in these countries doing business with America, not narco-terrorist dictators killing Americans. This is a big frigging day. And
why don't you put on a fucking uniform and go fight then, pussy?
everybody in the world is thinking differently than they were just a few days ago
Luigi, shush.
because of what you did. You could have done it. And as to this commander-in-chief,
got more for you. Here's Trump threatening Cuba.
You know, one of the things that is happening, and I think you see it all the time. Howard, you've seen it. That Cuba is ready to fall.
Luigi, shush, mama.
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall. I don't know
Cuba looks like it's ready to fall, is what he just said.
if they're going to hold out. But Cuba now has no income. They got all of their income from Venezuela, from the Venezuelan oil. They're not getting any of it. And Cuba literally is ready to fall. And you have a lot of great Cuban Americans that are going to be very happy about this.
Yeah, Cuban Americans who were ousted by Fidel Castro because they were capital-owning millionaires with fucking slave labor.
Go bonkers.
Is the Cuban government the Trump administration's next target, Mr. Secretary? Very quickly.
Well, the Cuban government is a huge problem. Yeah, the Cuban government is a huge problem. First of all,
is that a yes?
Cuba, but I don't think people fully appreciate. I think they're in a lot of trouble. Yes, I'm not going to talk to you about what our future steps are going to be and our policies are going to be right now on this.
He would have said no, we have no plans on declaring war with Cuba, but he can't say that because we already have drawn up the plans.
But I don't think it's any mystery that we are not big fans of the Cuban regime, who, by the way, are the ones that were propping up Maduro. His entire, internal security force, his internal security apparatus is entirely controlled by Cubans. One of the untold stories here is how, in essence, you talk about colonization, because I think you said Dulce Rodriguez mentioned that. The ones who have sort of colonized, at least inside the regime, are Cubans. It was Cubans that guarded Maduro. He was not guarded by Venezuelan bodyguards. He had Cuban bodyguards. In terms of their internal intelligence.
Yes, Marco Rubio is Cuban, I believe.
Who spies on who
He comes from a family that fled Fidel Castro because of how fucking wealthy they were.
Inside to make sure there are no traitors. Those are all Cubans.
Incredible. Incredible. I got more for you.
For our country. Now, we have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor, but it's close to a neighbor. And that's Venezuela. It's very sick. Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States.
Dude, he likes making cocaine and selling it to your fucking cokehead son.
And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long.
So there will be an operation by the U.S. and
It sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me. That's what he said. So we're going to war with Cuba as well. Check this out. This is from Dropside News. This is some sort of state regime media hack, just straight up lying to your fucking face and getting checked on.
Ultimately, again, I think President Trump is doing will stabilize the United States for generations to come, and it will ultimately be responsible for many Americans not dying from fentanyl overdoses, etc. It has been interesting to note, though, that
friendly reminder: 0 fentanyl comes to the U.S. through Venezuela. That is Trump's own DHS, Trump's own DEA, Trump's own Border Patrol confirmed this. Zero fentanyl comes into the United States of America from Venezuela. It comes from China to Mexico, across the southern border, smuggled in by U.S. citizens who work hand in hand with the cartels, trading them guns for drugs.
You're seeing the president and many countries that have been run by cartels, for example, Mexico, react in a negative light as opposed to...
Does Luigi need a check? No, there's a baby in the hallway. She fucking hates that baby.
Countries like Argentina, for example.
Okay, so two things. Did you read the indictment that was unsealed by Pam Bondi?
I read some of it, and I know I think it's one of the first...
What he's about to say is that in Maduro's indictment, they don't say the word fentanyl once.
...pages that cocaine is referenced.
Okay. Fentanyl is not mentioned in that, and neither is this alleged hit that you're talking about.
Yeah, they claim that Maduro put a hit on Marco Rubio's head. They have zero evidence of this.
Nicolas Maduro putting out on Senator Marco Rubio. Why would the Trump administration not indict him on what you're making to be a huge claim by an adversary of the United States against a sitting U.S. senator? Why do you think they didn't?
It's definitely an important piece of information, and I will make sure that I follow up with Todd Blanche and suggest that they try to charge him.
Yeah, well, it's made up. If there was actually a hit on Marco Rubio's head, then he would be indicted for attempted murder.
That's not what you're saying. You're justifying the actions of the administration. You're justifying the actions of the administration by citing fentanyl and citing an alleged hit on Senator Marco Rubio. Both of those.
Fentanyl and cocaine and drugs have been definitely trafficked out of Venezuela.
Wrong. Zero fent from Venezuela.
Fentanyl is not mentioned at all in the indictment against Nicolas Maduro.
I'm actually telling you confirmed information.
Nope, you are lying because you're a lying cunt.
I'm telling you confirmed information. So what I would do, I would reach out to the secretary's office and see if Nicolas Maduro put out a hit on him, and I just said that I would follow up with the DOJ.
I'm just telling you it's not mentioned in the indictment, and I'm asking you to explain why it's not mentioned in the indictment.
Department of Justice. I don't know. I don't work at the Department of Justice, but I think that would be a good thing for you guys to follow up on.
Do you think maybe it's not a real thing that do you think it's maybe not a real thing that they have any evidence to substantiate it?
No, I don't think that it's not a real thing. I think it definitely happened, and I definitely confirmed it with two separate people before I came onto your show because I wanted to share that with you. And I would suggest that you guys follow up with the Secretary's office because I do think that that's something that the American people should know.
Sorry about the barking, guys. Luigi just went through surgery, and, she hears somebody in the hallway. I want to point out one thing here, which is this is what the Trump regime posted on New Year's Eve. This is why I always knew that they were going to come in with straight-up fucking war.
Hold the line. Stay with me. Brothers. What we doing live? Echoes in eternity. Strengthen on, strengthen on. At my signal, unleash hell.
It's the gayest shit I've ever fucking seen. They're all so fucking gay. They're so homoerotic. All right, no, that's all I really got for you. An incredibly long video. I told you from the beginning it would be an incredibly long video. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate that. So global war is erupting. You have a fascist dictator in charge of the United States of America. There are 3 dictators who are trying to expand their spheres of influence. Donald Trump is trying to take over the entire Western Hemisphere. Vladimir Putin is trying to take over the entirety of Europe. And Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to take over the entirety of the Middle East. They are working in tandem together. This will probably give Xi Jinping the go-ahead that he needs to invade Taiwan. So you are looking at the cusp of global warfare. That's what we're moving into. By the way, come back here in a couple of days when we bomb Iran again. My assumption is before the 7th of 2026, before January 7th. I do believe we'll probably do it tomorrow on the anniversary of January 6th, but we'll find out. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'm usually not. Thank you very much for tuning into the Valenti VOD. If you're here live, you stay. We're going to make a thumbnail for that video. If you're watching this pre-recorded, don't forget to click that video right over there. It's a banger, and I know bangers. All right, that was pretty good, yeah? That was pretty good, right? That was pretty good. Now we gotta make a thumbie. Now we gotta make a thumbie. Weege, please. Enough. We made you one. Drop it. Let me see it. One of the mods is going to have to drop it. Let me see it. Let me see it. This content is no longer available. That's what it says. It says this content is no longer available on that link. There we go. That's the fucking craziest shit I've ever seen. I'm doing it. That's so fucking funny. You made me look like a ghoul. Episode 344. Thank you for making that, guys. You really saved me some time. That's so fucking good, dude. Thank you for the $5. I can only imagine we're gonna get drone what the Soviets did to Germany post World War III. I don't know what you meant. I'm sorry. Trump begins global conquest. Breaking. Trump begins global conquest. Welcome to the resource war. We are the Fourth Reich. Sensitive event dealing with war, death, and tragedy. All right, processing is beginning. Let's make an ad while this is going. So, global warfare is erupting. Donald Trump announced that we are going to invade and conquer Colombia. We are going to invade and conquer Cuba. We are going to invade and conquer Canada. We are going to invade and conquer Greenland. On top of that, he said that we will own the entire Western Hemisphere, both Americas. That means all of Canada and all of South America. At the same time, the other spheres of influence from the different dictators around the globe are starting to expand. So, while our dictator here in America expands the Don Roe Doctrine, which is a pun on the Monroe Doctrine, Putin is expanding his sphere of influence in Europe. The Germans and the rest of the European countries are preparing for a giant European war. Bibi Netanyahu is expanding the Greater Israel Project, taking over all of the Middle East. This will send a message to Xi Jinping and the Chinese that, well, if America is not playing by the rules, why the fuck should they? And they will invade Taiwan. Trump is the biggest warmonger in American history, and all of his bootlicking MAGA seals are going to shit in their hands and clap together, despite the fact that they voted for peaceful dove, no new wars, and the war on day one. All that bullshit went clean out the fucking window. This is because Trump supporters are not in a political party. They're in a cult, and if the Fuhrer decides to change his mindset, well, so will they. Off the rippity-bo-bippity. Donald Trump's approval rating is in the fucking tank. It's like 30% right now. He decided to not put Maria Corina Machado, the CIA plant, in charge of Venezuela, because instead he does not want American investment in the oil. He actually wants to own it. So we're going to keep boots on the ground there. We're going to send more troops. They're going to be there for a couple of years. We're going to lose a whole bunch of fucking American soldiers' lives. What else? Just just global conflict erupting. Welcome to 2026. I'm right. You're wrong. I'm always right. You've never been right. I'm always fucking right. New YouTube video on this, covering it. Very long YouTube video, goes into depth. I think it's like an hour and a half long. Go check it out. New YouTube video, new YouTube video, new YouTube video. So, global warfare is erupting. Global war erupts because of Donald Trump. On top of that, he said that we will own the right-wing influencers and Fox News cannot keep up. He's considering Stephen Miller to run Venezuela. Stephen Miller being considered for more elevated role in managing post-Maduro Venezuela. Oh, so okay, so the Venezuelans are actually going to like be genocided. Just so you know, if this guy actually ends up in charge of Venezuela, he's going to slaughter Venezuelans in mass. I don't mean in warfare, I mean in an extermination program. He's going to slaughter you all. That guy's a Jewish Nazi. Thanks for being so consistent, Chris. I love Lenti. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Still processing because it's a very long video. Who's the judge who signed the arrest warrant for Maduro? No idea. Imagine if Obama did this. Dude, if Obama did this, the Republicans would have fucking dragged him out of the Oval Office and lynched him. Are you kidding? They would have literally fucking lynched him. Excuse me. Thank you for the $2, Carolina. I watched the first episode of Heated Rivalry. I didn't really like it. I thought it was going to be some drama, but it really is just smut. And I know smut is for a lot of people, but it ain't for me. I've never really liked smut. I tried to watch 50 Shades of Grey. I didn't like it. Because my thing is, if I'm going to watch smut, I might as well just watch porn. Why the fuck am I watching smut? You know what I mean? But I understand why a lot of people like it. It ain't my thing. All right, let's get this on YouTube as well. Short, that one. I played my Marvel Rivals right when it came out. I liked it. It got pretty boring. It got pretty fucking boring, if I'm being totally honest. I still can't believe you guys made me look like a feral ghoul. All right, let's see how it starts. All right, needs a little bit of a tweak. We're going to publish it. Edit. We have to wait until we can trim and cut that millennial pause out of there. Shouldn't take too long. It has to go through claim processing. Thank you for the $5. If I donate $500 in the future saying I am cartoonishly evil, will you put it in the thumbnail? Yeah. Yeah, sure. For $500? Yeah, I'll put you in the thumbnail. Sure. I'm not even a fucking millennial, and I've got a millennial pause. Hear about J.D. Vance's house attack? No. Yo, Charlie Kirk's been real quiet. Has he posted anything in like 4 months? All right, let's trim and cut. New cut, 09. 04. 00. Let's see. Global war has erupted. Save, acknowledge, confirm. Excuse me. All right. Let's get this YouTube short posted up and ready to go. New episode of the Valenti VOD. Related video. That one. Upload. I still can't believe that thumbnail. You guys killed that thumbnail. That thumbnail's awesome. Crazy shit, right, gang? Crazy shit. There's that baby again. I swear to God, Luigi's gonna fucking tweak. She hates that human baby, man. She fucking hates that human baby. Somebody says, I bet Kirk is looking down like while this is happening. You think Kirk is looking down? You out of your fucking mind? I don't believe in a heaven or a hell, but if there was, that motherfucker's looking up. That motherfucker's looking up. Chris, OAL will prevail, because who are we? We are Charlie Kirk! We carry the flame! We fight for the gospel and honor his name. We are Charlie Kirk, his courage our own. Together unbroken, we'll make heaven known. Such a banger, dude. It's a shame that's AI, because it's a fucking banger, dude. Ask Angelo what wars did Trump end. I don't know who Angelo is. Angelo, I don't know who you are, but could you tell us what wars Trump ended? Trump claims he ended 8 wars. Could you name, like, I don't know, at least half? Could you name 4 of them? Could you name half of the wars that Trump ended? I know it's probably hard to name them all, but could you name half of them? Chris Moggs Trump. I hate to inform you, but we all mog Trump. Everybody mogs Trump, dude. He's a senile, 80-year-old, morbidly obese, orange fascist. How's your coffee? It's empty now. I'm sipping on an empty fucking mug. Chris only notices me when I don't comment anything important. I'm convinced he ignores my gooning comments. I do ignore the gooning comments. I do. All right, guys. No chance the title of the stream was hyperbole? No. All right, guys. I'm out. Thank you very much for tuning into the Valenti broadcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing. It helps me immensely. Buy merch, send money, donate, become a patron, do whatever you got to do. All right? You have a good one, gang. GG's. Have a good one, guys. Later.